you like hot sauce? Then you'll love Great White Hot Sauce. It's a small batch, handmade hot sauce, made especially for you. So if you want some badass hot sauce, go to www.trygreatwhite.com. Well, here we are, episode 85, our end of year episode. Yeah, these are always interesting. Coming up on the start of our third year. Wow. And on this episode, no Jack, no surprise. Yeah, I throw a dig, so what? It's my podcast. I can do what I want. But in his place, as usual, Luke Colicchio and Mark Smith from the Music Relish Podcast. Those guys have been dynamite for me all year long. They come through in the clutch. They're great utility players. They could play on my team any day. So sit back, relax, enjoy our end of year show. I know I will.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The KOFB Studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast hosted by Scott McLean. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
All right. Let me get this thing set up here. Thank you, Amanda, for that wonderful introduction as usual. Young Amanda home on her last week of Christmas break. Then she'll head back up to college. I miss her. Then I don't. No, I always do. She's a good kid. Good kid. Bright future. Bright future. So this is our end of year show. It's me and Mark Smith and Luke Colicchio, and it's coming up on the end of our second year on the Milk Crates and Turntables podcast. So right now we're streaming live over, here we go, couple of pages on Facebook, some YouTube, some Twitch, Twitter, D-Live, and I don't know, some other things. I'm just streaming live everywhere. I don't even know what I'm doing sometimes. I just hit live. Anyways, so yeah, end of year show. And without further ado, let me bring on the how can I put it? Well, as I put it in the introduction, the best utility players in the game. They can play any position. Mark Smith first.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? And Lou Colicchio, the master of the notebook.
Hey there, Scott. What's going on?
Whoa, listen to that voice. Whoa.
Oh, stop.
Whoa, this is, now Lou has stepped his game up in the microphone department. Scotty likes that.
Good.
Scotty likes that.
It's a Shure vocal microphone. It's actually a singing microphone. It's not a podcast mic.
Well, look at you. You're going to sing for us next? Is that
if you want? I'm a utility player. I can I can dance. I'll dance.
Boy, that's my boy.
Should old acquaintance be forgot?
Well, we're coming up on that. Well, let me see. Hey, Mark, how was your Christmas?
It was good. Quiet. Yeah.
All right. Lou, your Christmas?
It was good. Same thing. Nice and relaxing, and food and drink, and just relaxing, especially.
There you go.
Hope you have the same.
Yeah. Well, I have. I'm Mr. Christmas, so it's always fun and exciting, and things are always happening. Food's flying, and wrapping paper's flying. I got my Christmas spirit from my dad, so
nice.
I pass it on to my kids, and yeah, I love. Although Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, actually.
Nice.
I think it's more focused on friends and family and.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas Christmas is just bright and fun and cheery, and who gives a shit?
Right.
Do whatever you want.
The only money involved is either going or bringing a gift or some kind of food or something to the dinner. But that's the best dinner in the world, though. The turkey, the whole thing.
What's that, on Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Oh, yeah. The traditional Thanksgiving meal, I think there's nothing like it.
So let me ask you this. Mark, let me ask you, what is your meal on Christmas?
Well, this year my vote was for Chinese food, but I got outvoted. So we got a prime rib roast only because of a good coupon. So that $70 roast became $30.
That's a good coupon.
And we're still eating it. Stew tonight.
What about you, Lou? What's your Christmas dinner?
Well, this year was just me and my son, so it was a pot roast and some
right.
roasted potato. Real simple thing. But yeah, it was fun.
Pot roast is always good, man.
It's always good. It's always good. And it was fucking cold.
Well,
you weren't. Okay. Yeah, you weren't.
What's cold to you in South Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. I'm sorry. What's cold to you?
We were in single digits into the teens and things like that. And even though we're in the mountains, it's usually pretty temperate. But it was like 1 degree in the morning when my car started too. I worked up until Christmas Eve, and it's cold here because the houses aren't really built for that. This used to be almost like a place to go to restore yourself. There's hot springs, even though we're in the mountains. It's usually temperate. Right now we're in the 50s. So, but it was cold. It was rough.
You were colder than me.
Yeah.
What were you looking at, Mark?
I think I was the day Lou texted, it's cold and it's 15. I think I was 19. So I was balmy.
Okay.
It's been cold though. We had a severe cold snap. I'm in a tiny part of New York that escaped all that snow. Buffalo got hammered. I mean, that was just So we just got rain before that front came through. I feel lucky for that. Yeah,
we had what I call perfect South Florida Christmas weather. It doesn't happen every year, but it was chilly. It was like 40s, overcast, and it rained a little bit, like nothing heavy, off and on sometimes throughout. And that just always gives me that Christmas spirit down here. It just gives me that chill in the air. It gives me a little taste of home, just a little taste. How's this? Just enough taste, because fuck that 10-degree shit.
Yeah. Really? Absolutely.
Yeah. It gives me just enough to put on a hoodie, although I had on a Santa jacket and Santa pants. And again, I love Mr. Christmas. But that didn't last long. This gift got opened. I was like, hey, this shit's coming off. Okay. But it was nice. And I do the same dinner at Christmas. I do the turkey and the ham, just because I fucking love a turkey dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Turkey. Why does turkey dinner not get cooked any other time during the year? Think about that. Like, we'll have chicken. Why don't people just have, like, why is there no, you never go over somebody's house for dinner. Hey, what are you having for dinner? Oh, we're having a turkey dinner. No, nobody ever does that during the year. Like,
yeah, I notice when I go in the supermarket in May, you look at, there's like 3 lonely turkeys in the freezer. Nobody's touching them.
They're all covered. They're covered in freezer burn. They're all like, they're gonna want to buy them anyway.
That's one of my New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna have 3 turkey dinners before Thanksgiving.
Do it at the exact halfway point of the year.
That's one.
A special occasion type of thing.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. We'll see. Or maybe just a Sunday. Maybe maybe on the Super Bowl, I'll have a turkey dinner.
Really?
There you go.
I don't know.
Maybe it's because you don't want to take it for granted, because you look forward to it. It's that thing. It's the smells. So maybe, but I think a couple times a year wouldn't hurt. I mean, might come in handy.
I do make the greatest stuffing in America. I gotta say that. I do.
Okay.
It is the greatest stuffing in America.
Is there any meat in it, like sausage or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Lots of butter and onion and some there's some maple syrup in there somewhere. And
next Thanksgiving at your house then.
Hey buddy, you know what? I love a big thing. You fuckers come on down. Bring your families. I don't care. I got a big enough house.
I will.
I got the Viking table. You're more than welcome to come down, my friend.
Cool.
Come down with your son. There's always a house full of people, and it's fun, and Cool. Although I set myself up for that. Later on in life, when things start to get sad, and it's like, I remember the days we used to have 18 people at Thanksgiving, you know? Yeah. That's when I'm sitting in the nursing home.
Small.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the nursing. God forbid. God forbid. So, end of year, guys. I want to start off. I don't want to end this. I want to start off by saying, once again, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for always being there, for giving me your time and giving me your knowledge and your humor and your input. It's you have no idea how appreciated it is for me.
Thank you. We're honored to be on.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But you guys, I get nothing but straight A feedback for you guys. You guys have been, I mean, it was like when I first kind of found you guys, I after the first show, I think we did it together, right? There was two of you, you both came on, right? Yeah. I said to my wife, because she always asked me, you know, how'd the podcast go? You know, and I said, and I don't usually swear in front of my wife. I'll say jokingly, but I said, these fucking guys are a gold mine.
That's right. Thank you.
Somebody likes me. Wow.
I said, these guys are a fucking gold mine. And she just got it laughing. And she didn't know what I meant. I said, no. I said, I hope they stick around because you guys have been an asset to this podcast. And I unless you guys ghost me, you're not going anywhere.
No. And the same to you. They're just the fun, and it's an honor to be here. It really is. It's just you know, I was the Johnny Come Lately to your podcast, and you know, once I got on, I said this is really fun. This is, you know, it's a great thing to do, and I love doing it. I think
once a week. You guys do it twice a week. You know, how can you not have fun talking about music if you're a music fan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then to share it with other, you know, with other like-minded and knowledgeable in different areas, guys, that just makes it that much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, let me start off by saying thank you very much for your time.
You know,
this podcast has gotten nothing but better since you guys came on. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, the ironic thing is me and Lou were turned on to your show by a bot. Perry.
Perry the bot. That's right.
It's amazing that those bots are doing good for you.
And I said, man, when he started popping in on YouTube, and I'm like, do I know this dude? Because, you know, it's like who finds your podcast on YouTube, right? You know, it's like you don't really expect it. Like, you know, you put it out there. I don't advertise it. I don't put, you know, money into sending it out. It's people stumble upon it, and that's what I like. The organic part of this podcast is, and that's how the audience is growing. It's organic, and he starts popping in, and I'm like, the first show, I'm like, after the show, I told Jack, did you know that dude? And he goes, no. I go, that motherfucker knows some shit. Like he's had some good input. Yes, like he would contribute during the show. Then he came on again and again, and I always made sure to pay attention to him because how can you not? He always had something right to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, he would correct you. He had no problem correcting one of us either, right? And next thing you know, I see one of you guys pop up, and one of you know, then the other one pops up in comments, and Tom, our buddy Tom, you know, he popped in and out.
Yep. Let me try to get this guy, Tom.
Yeah, I would be remiss to say my buddy that just commented in, Dave Phillips. He says, "Good evening." Dave Phillips is an old music guy himself. As a matter, there he is. Tom. Oh, look at that, buddy. Where you at, Tom? Where you at, buddy? He just popped in.
He called us bitches too.
Yeah. But before I get back to Tom, my buddy Dave Phillips, I call him the king of the 45s. He has his own music thing. He knows quite a bit. One of these days I'll get him on. He's a character.
Cool.
But he's a music guy. And there's my buddy Tom. There's Tom. The working class hero, I heard.
Yeah.
He's a working class. He's a John Lennon song now.
Right? Man of 300 jobs.
Look at that. You know, I could tell he wasn't a lazy guy.
No, hell no.
That's for sure. We got to get him on at least one more time.
Absolutely. You know? Come on, Tom.
Listen, Tom knows that the invitation is always there. He can pop in whenever he wants. He's more than invited back on. Tom is actually the one that kind of broke the ice to this podcast, right? He came on. He's like, I'll fill in, you know, and then he kind of led me to you guys,
right?
Because I think he was on.
Perry, he didn't know me and Perry knew each other, and then I think he's the one that told you that, you know.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting this year, and this all happened. I think, was it around the summertime?
Yeah,
maybe June.
Yeah,
around June, I think this kind of started to. I think Tom came on. Perry had popped up earlier.
The famous show where Tom was mopping his head. Remember that show?
What a fucking trooper he was, buddy. That's right. It was the summertime.
Jesus. Wow. In a bunker, basically in a concrete bunker, I think. Right?
That dude, I mean, you cannot be more fucking dedicated to a podcast. What did you say? He's sitting in a bunker?
He's in a bunker. Now, bear in mind, Tom, he's from New Jersey too, and we got some brutal, humid summers. So it probably wasn't alien, but that was close, wasn't it?
He was in the garage, right? And he had the door open, right? And you could see his car in the background. And somebody asked me afterwards, was that his backdrop?
Was that his backdrop? I was waiting to see an alligator walk in, you know.
I said, no, that was really his car. They're like, oh, okay. And he was wiping off the sweat, and he was fighting through it, man. But I gotta say, through Tom's dedication, the first time, I think it was one of the first times Mark and I did a show. Maybe you were with us, Lou, maybe you weren't. But after, it was like one of those marathons, like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was like, you know, probably like tonight's gonna go. But
aren't they all?
As soon as I'm going to let the listeners know, as soon as we go off the air, Mark says, oh, thank God. It's not that I wanted it to end, but I had to piss for the last 2 hours. And he didn't want to insult me by
going off camera.
Getting up.
Hey, that Chardonnay goes right through you, man.
Get a jug, man.
I told him, I said, dude, you have to do that. That actually adds to the show. That makes it more interesting. And he runs downstairs, knocks over a statue, and breaks something.
I'll never live that one down. Oh,
yeah, you told the wrong person because I won't forget it either. That shit was funny.
That is funny.
That was funny. So, okay, let's get into music news in 2022. All right, I have a list of things, and I'm going to start with back in January of 2022. As a matter of fact, it was January 26th, and this news article was titled Neil Young versus Joe Rogan. Doesn't seem that long ago, does it?
No.
That's when Neil Young pulled his catalog from Spotify because he didn't like what Joe Rogan was saying about the coof. I don't even want to say the word because they'll knock me off the air. And he didn't like what he was spraying. Ends up Joe Rogan was right. He was right all along, you know. But that became a thing, right? And then Neil Young pulls his catalog, and you know who cared? Nobody.
It didn't really.
Nobody fucking cared.
It didn't make.
Anyone likes Neil Young has his albums or his CDs. So
exactly. You know, so you know he tried to make a statement. He actually cost himself millions, I think. By doing that. But all to make that hippie stand.
But you know what? I don't think he cares if he loses millions at this point. He's got billions, gazillions, you know.
Didn't he sell his catalog for like 300, 400 million or something?
He was one of the many. Yeah.
We've been going over that on Music Relish about what does that mean when you sell your catalog? Like what does it entail? The copyrights? Is it the publishing rights? Is it mechanical royalties for the musicians that played on it? You know, like so you basically sign it all away. Or at least we were mentioning that was it Dylan? In his instance, well, like, you know, they can license it, but you know, however they do it, I think it's up to them. But
so I think some of them package it differently because I heard somebody else, I forget who it was, that sold their catalog, and they actually said it included this, and like, you know, on top of the catalog. So I think some of them, they basically sell the rights.
Yeah. It is
to the music, but they don't get.
They sell the publishing, I think is what it is.
The publishing, yeah. But I think they all cut kind of different deals. As I'm sure some of them want to hang on to a piece of it. You know?
In some way, like now, if you were like in the whatever band you were in, like say you Bruce Springsteen, like the guys that played on Born in the USA, does Max still get paid a mechanical royalty? You know, I think even though you remember the band, they all have their own deals too. I would think too. But like
they're all millionaires.
Well, sure, yeah. When Bruce sold his catalog as the E Street Band out of any financial benefit from that.
Yeah, I think Jack mentioned, maybe it was last week, that you know, he sells these he sells the catalog, and you think, oh, the poor E Street Band, and I guess Jack went and looked it up. He's like, they're all millionaires.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He's like, so I don't feel bad for them at all.
Oh, no. I mean, you didn't write the song. You've been touring behind it, but, you know, you got money for touring, you know, and it's fun. I heard, too, that, you know, even though some people weren't in the band longer than others, some people got paid more than others, apparently.
Yeah.
So even if you were in the band for a longer time, you know, you might have been the highest paid member. It's a deal.
Yeah. However they divvy it up.
Yeah.
Mark, you got any stories? You got any stories?
You know, kind of a heartbreaking thing. I lost one of my favorite drummers when Alan White passed. That just broke my heart because that was.
I have a whole list. I have a list of everybody.
Oh yeah,
everybody, I mean, month by month. So we're gonna get into all that.
It's the hour of doom.
I have a theory about a certain month of the year that's bad for rock stars dying.
All right, we'll get to that.
A certain month of it's
okay.
Weird.
All right, we got
cruel
that.
month.
You know, I'm gonna have to some point tonight mention my personal favorite highlights of the year. We all have like something, a couple things, a concert, a release. So I got 2, 3, but I would say, and we talked about this on our show. I think this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame entertained me far more than any other. Maybe because it was mixed better, but came off great. You know, I don't always agree with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I very rarely do, but the performances, Duran sounded phenomenal.
Yeah. I haven't seen one in ages. It doesn't. But even though I thought it was amazing too, like the sound quality, the performances were great too. Except for Lionel Richie was a little scary.
I didn't see him.
I didn't actually watch any of it. Believe it or not, okay. I do a music podcast, and I didn't watch any of the all rock and roll. I'm kind of burned out from them. I'm kind of like,
I hear
you. Know
what?
College football. I used to be a big college football fan until, I don't know, 15 years ago. 20, I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Even dart leagues had playoffs. Think of that. Like professional dart leagues had playoffs, but college football didn't have any playoffs. And I started really digging into it. I said, I'm not even giving them my time anymore. So I stopped watching college football. Now they have somewhat of a playoff. They make it interesting, but it's still, I'm not a big fan of the process. And I just started feeling the same way about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I'm like, I saw what they were doing, and they're being virtue signaling, and they're, you know, and you've heard me, I don't know how many times in this podcast this year say, you know, Carly Simon, fucking really, you know.
Dig it.
And it's just, you know why. Some people listening might not like it. It's just my opinion, but I think I'm pretty right on this one.
I think you said it's her lips, right?
Oh, you know what? Sometimes you should just kind of keep the image of best mouth. She had the best mouth in music, right? And I posted a video on my Facebook page the other day, a couple days ago. She's 79. She's about to turn 80.
God damn.
And she's sitting on the bed, and she looks 80.
Yeah, right? I saw that video.
Right. So, and there was some people that commented like, "Who's that? Steven Tyler?" Right?
Right?
I mean, my people absolutely ruined it. Right? They ruined it. But it's one of those things where, and somebody said, "Well, you know, you hope you look good that good when you're 80." Well, it's not the fact that I posted a video that she was 80 to make fun of her. Really, the point is when you look at these artists that you grew up emulating and loving and loving their music, and you know she was a 70s hottie by a mile, and then you see them today, it kind of fucking takes something away from it.
Sure.
You know, that image that you had in your head is all of a sudden it's like, damn, she's fucking 80. Now I don't know if that's an internal thing that now we kind of look at it and say, you know, I just turned 59. You know what I mean? Like, is this part of it? Watching our heroes, you know, get old. We have these images of rock stars and musicians and singers that we kind of want to keep. But
I saw a picture of Joe Perry backstage on the there's just recently over this year. It's not old. He's an old man, like frail. It was hard to look at. It was like, whoa.
Right.
It was rough.
It couldn't be the lifestyle, could it? Nothing to do with the lifestyle.
No.
I posted another video. I've been doing it lately of Iggy Pop singing recently without a shirt on. It is not fucking pretty. Like, this dude looks like a fucking leather factory gone bad. His skin is like hanging and it's sagging and it's like you can see. And again, he's Iggy Pop, but you know, Iggy, at a certain point, you don't have to take your shirt off anymore.
Yeah,
you know, and you're a fucking icon. You're an icon in music.
Maybe he should cover it up with feces so he can't see that stuff, right?
Jesus Christ, where'd that come from?
Did he cover himself with dog shit or something? Was that one of his things?
That was peanut butter.
That was peanut butter. That's right. It was peanut butter.
Yeah. There's a couple older
That's just my
rockers.
thing, I guess. I don't know.
There's a couple older rockers that take their shirts off. So I saw Todd Rundgren a few years ago. He's like 72. And the second half of his show, he goes into the R&B stuff, and he eventually takes his shirt off. And I'm like, all right, disturbing. Then I saw Carl Palmer a few months ago, and back in the 70s, he would always do during his drum solo, he would do the double bassing and just tear his shirt off. So he was doing the solo, and I'm like, he's not going to take his shirt off, is he? And he took it off. And it's just sagging, you know?
So Morrissey, you know, my guy, my favorite artist, Morrissey, he has this thing. He always comes on. He has on like these, always has stylish jeans and shoes. You know, he doesn't wear sneakers. He'll wear a nice shirt and jewelry. Like he kind of looks kind of like an older rock star would kind of look, right? An artist. I don't know if he's a rock star, but and sometimes he has a jacket, and at the end of the show, he just has his shirt on because he gets one, and he does this every single show. Right at the end of the last song, he takes his shirt off and he throws it into the crowd. And then he just kind of runs off stage. That's like the extent of what you'll see him do. Yeah. But the thing about that is, I know why he does it. It causes fucking chaos in the audience. I watched 3 people grab that shirt in Miami, and none of them were letting go. I said with my wife, let's just sit, you know, let the crowd disperse. We're 45 minutes to home. It's no big deal. And we watched these 3 just hang on. Security was trying to, and they would fucking not let go of that shirt. I never got the ending because I think they all walked outside hanging on to the shirt. Like, how do you handle that? Is this like that contest where the last person to keep their hand on the truck wins it?
Yep.
You know, do they stand in front of the fucking arena and like until next day? Like, who's gonna let go?
Security come with scissors. I mean, this is how we solve the problem.
I don't know. Yeah.
How does Morrissey make an indestructible shirt?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's toying with them.
He does, yeah. But he does it every single show religiously. Dave Phillips says Bob Seger never took his shirt off. John Fogerty never took his shirt off. Those guys don't have to. They're not that kind of artist. But Iggy was basically, he always took his shirt off.
Yeah. When did he have it on? You know.
Yeah. Lou, you got a music story?
Yeah, it was something Perry sent to us in a feed. It was about, relating to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the fact that, Dolly Parton was inducted into it. And then the article I saw that not only her, she's a double inductee. So there's Rock and Roll and Country Music Hall of Fame double inductees. Yeah. Nice little list. But Jerry Lee Lewis, he was one of the inaugural, he was like the first class of inductees. And I think he might have been one of the last surviving ones too. He also died this year. Yeah. But Dolly Parton, Brenda Lee, Floyd Kramer, Bob Willis and his Texas Playboys, they were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know what if you played a song, I might know it, but I'm not too familiar. The Everly Brothers, Johnny Cash, Sam Phillips, Jimmy Rogers, the Singing Brakeman. I mentioned Floyd Kramer. Ray Charles, Elvis Presley, Chet Atkins, Bill Monroe, and Hank Williams. So there were crossovers, you know. So I got, because I was thinking, my thing about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this last show was like nothing against Dolly Parton, but like, you know, she was inducted in, and she, you know, she felt weird about it. Like I think she thought she was being maybe pandered to, or just like a gimme. When I'm sure she feels there's other people that could have been inducted instead of her. Not that she doesn't deserve it. It's nothing, you know. It's just like Carly Sami. You got to wonder why over someone else, or how many other people. But you know, if you look, I guess, you know, the Everly Brothers, and that was early rock and roll, but it was also country. A lot of these people they all had country roots anyway. Elvis, you know, Ray Charles, and you know, country and western music.
She's actually now, I guess, she's in the process of making a rock album.
Yeah, right.
You know, with I don't know what artists. There's a lot of artists that are gonna. Well, there's only so many you could put on an album, but
she wants to do Stairway to Heaven, I heard.
Hey, listen, you know what? Dolly can do whatever. So that woman, and I said it when she got inducted, I respected the fact that she understood that this was not kind of right why she's going in.
Right.
And she kind of took a small stand, but it was kind of the genie was out of the bottle, the cat was out of the bag. She kind of went along with it after. I'm sure they were like, we can't turn around now, you know?
Yeah.
And so she said, you know what? Then I'll make a rock album, and I'll she's always been a class act. That woman, from as long as I can remember, you've never heard anything, not one bad story about Dolly Parton.
Yep. Wasn't she married to Burt Reynolds too? No, that was Lonnie Anderson.
Lonnie Anderson was, yeah. So was wasn't he married to Dinah Shore also? Weren't they dating back in the day?
Going way back, yeah.
I know. There's some people that are Dinah who? What?
I remember, the TV show, and they said she couldn't sing back then. She was very flat.
Yeah, it was Dinah Shore. That's right. Yeah.
At the Hall of Fame performance, she actually got up and did a rock song. She played guitar, and it was all distorted. It was crunched out. So she was playing. She was rocking. I'll say that because she's that great. Her voice sounded great. All the women on the show. It was ladies' night at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
they were great.
I said this last year. You see it coming. It's not. They're putting them in for a reason, and it's not really on merit.
Okay. Well, I mean, they said Dolly one thing. Pat Benatar, I think, deserved it.
I guess. And your Eurythmics. I mean, they weren't really a hit machine, but they were pretty impactful. But that's a duo. The Eurythmics.
There was a band. Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
So.
But she sounded amazing though. Annie Lennox was probably the best of the whole bunch though. As they've gotten older, their voices have stayed quite good.
And I think we've had this discussion a number of times, either Jack and I or you guys. So name an older band, 70s band, or that isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that should be there.
America.
So Dolly Parton or Pat Benatar should go in before America, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, sure.
This is what I'm saying. Like, that's just not really, why they're starting to fill it up with women, because someone complained and listen, they have their agenda, and they're going to make things right. So they're just.
Right.
I just always thought Pat Benatar was good. I didn't think she was Rock and Roll Hall of Fame material. She was a good 80s singer. What did she do in the 90s? What did she do in the 2000s? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
Not bad. I mean, if you take Fleetwood Mac was a band too. But I see what you're saying, and maybe there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I just look at it that way. I'm like, Pat Benatar was good, but she wasn't Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Not only that, but I mean, some of these bands were also snubbed for other reasons, or whatever, other reasons that they're not being put in. But there's the side politics of whatever politics that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has, but. I agree. Like, I mean, Carly Simon had to go in before America, or, and
I mean,
or even Jethro Tull. I mean, they're not in, I don't think, right?
Yeah, no. I just have one theory on it, and I've said this before. If they put in every band we think they should have been in every year, they would have been done. Like, I know every year you have new bands eligible, but there are only so many rock bands.
Hold on, Mark, let me interrupt. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's the train?
On its way to Hoboken and New York City.
I did hear it, right?
The Pascack Valley line.
I love like when Jack's on it. I hear that train. I hear that mother. I hear that shit. I love that. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
How rock and roll, man.
Part of the show now.
The train kept it rolling.
But I'm sorry. Continue, Mark. Continue.
Yeah, I would just say, like, say every Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, where they induct six artists average. So if they inducted 6 rock bands that we know should get it, I think they would have blown their load in like 10 years. There wouldn't have been nobody else to induct. So I think they're taking their time. And there's politics. Come on, we know it.
Well,
someone's friends with Jimmy Iovine, he gets in, and that too,
I might have to disagree with you on that. I think you go by Pat Benatar could have waited maybe 8 more years then by that rationale. You know what I mean?
Point. Yeah.
You take who came first, it's, and then you just kind of move it along.
Yeah.
You don't go, okay, we're going to do Pat Benatar, we're going to do Duran Duran, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go back to the 70s. Yeah. You're like, why is this band getting in now? It's like, why didn't they get in 8 years, 10 years ago?
And the snub that got a lot of people angry was, every year, were snubbed every year. Finally, they got in, but Chris Squire had died. And a lot of people said if they had gotten in earlier, Chris Squire would have been there to get it, the award.
Also, the fact that all these people they're in their 70s going on 80s, and by the time they get around to inducting, it'll probably all be posthumous.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so get them in while you can. So on May 11th of this year, this is one of my favorite stories of the year. Now, I don't know if you follow them. They get more publicity because of their name and their actions. It's these 3 Russian girls, right? Do you know who they are? You know what I'm doing? Pussy Riot, right?
Yeah.
So they get in a lot of trouble in Russia, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're like the female Sex Pistols of Russia, right? They're just very aggressive, and they'll speak their mind, and they get arrested, and they get thrown. So they got arrested, and on May 11th, the headline read, Pussy Riot's Maria Alekina escaped. Amidst a year of horrifying news from Russia, punk provocateur Maria Alekina was due to be sent to a penal colony, but she escaped the country disguised as a food courier.
That's awesome.
That's a movie.
If that's not rock and roll, what is?
Yeah. She escaped Russia.
Yeah. Dressed as a food courier. Like, this is
a Domino's delivery driver.
This is some next level, secret squirrel shit, right?
I have to deliver this pizza to Poland, please.
Yeah. Let me see.
Fake mustache and everything, probably, man. That's wild.
Let me see. Let me see. Among the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine, Pussy Riot's Maria Alekina was already on effective house arrest stemming from charges aimed at suppressing her political activism. So when authorities announced that the rest of her sentence would be fulfilled in prison, she decided to leave the country like a spy novel. I'm telling you, right?
Yeah.
Disguised in a food courier uniform and leaving her phone behind so she couldn't be tracked by police who were already staking her out. Alekina fled her country to Belarus and later to Lithuania. Let me see. Alekina detailed to the New York Times the long and arduous process of leaving after having her Russian passport confiscated. On her first attempt to leave, she was held by Belarusian border guards for 6 hours, later placed on Russia's wanted list. It took 3 tries to get through to Lithuania, where she met up with friends, one of whom reportedly convinced an unnamed to country issue, the artist, a travel document that essentially gave her the same status as an EU citizen.
I didn't know all about that. That's amazing.
No, I never. She must have convinced them she was in the band. I mean, you know what I mean? What reason would they let her defect? Whatever, No,
they were looking for her. She was on Russia's wanted list, but she kind of just she's a food courier.
Well, once she got into Belarus, what was her? They stopped her, and then going.
They must have convinced that she's good, and somebody vouched for her. One of her friends or something.
She's in Pussy Riot. She's in Pussy Riot.
It's fucking great.
Wow,
I wonder what happened to the
what balls.
I figured she had nothing to lose. She was going to, she was going to be fucking in a cell with Brittany Griner. So
I wonder what happened to the other two members of the
penal
band.
colony.
I don't know. It doesn't say. I'll have to do some more research on that. But I think that's one of the greatest music stories of the year.
Yeah, man.
It's great.
Big.
Make it into a movie.
Escaped Russia.
Really? It's intrigue.
Yeah. What do you got, Mark?
Oh, this year was the year. Well, I love to follow lawsuits and I love to watch bands fight. So this year was the year of Journey imploding. Just great to watch.
Yeah.
Just every day there's like another headline,
Lawsuits.
Oh my God. They have a huge tour that next year. I guess money talks and they'll get along for the tour, but it was just hilarious.
Yeah, I think I brought that up like last month or something, and the fact that there's a credit card for the band, and
right,
yeah,
Neil Schon isn't on it, and the other dude, I forget his name, he controls it.
Jonathan Cain.
Yeah, and it's he controls it, and it's some sort of LLC for Journey.
Yeah,
which this guy's like using it as a fund something. He's not paying like roadies. It's his lawsuit.
Oh, that's the other thing that got me. Like, he's not paying wages. Now, come on, dude. You wrote all these great songs. The money's pouring in from the royalties, and come on, pay the people. Pay the guys that help you.
You were saying he was one of the main songwriters of a lot of that stuff too, right?
The 80s stuff. I mean,
Jonathan Cain, you mean?
Yeah,
Jonathan Cain, yeah.
He's the reason they became one of the reasons they became successful. You gotta give him that, but it's Neil. I say it's Neil Schon's band. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there from the very beginning.
Beginning, yeah.
So what do you got, Lou? Another story?
That's all I had.
Okay.
Where's my one news?
We had let me see. Okay, this is kind of on July 12th, Zach De La Rocha, lead singer of Rage Against the Machine. It says Rage Against the Machine's triumphant comeback tour hit a setback when the vocalist tore his Achilles tendon and had to perform seated. See, this just goes to show you, when you get old, you can't fucking jump around the stage like you did in the 90s.
Yep.
You just can't do it. You're gonna fucking hurt yourself.
Yeah,
that's the reason why, Tom Petty and Prince, he was wearing those high heels all those years and jumping off pianos with
his feet were all banged up,
and his back's all fucked up. Yeah, so it's all painkillers and as many fentanyl patches you can stick on.
I don't know how much Tom Petty was abused. He just kind of stood there and hey. You ever notice that almost every song there's a hey in there or a
don't come around here no more.
There's always a sound. He makes this hey. If you listen to the song, there's always one of them in there.
Yeah,
it's also maybe slinging guitars too. I mean, Rickenbackers aren't that heavy, but a lot of guitar players have had problems with those heavy Les Pauls. Those things weigh a ton.
That's why I play a strap.
Carrying that thing, yeah. Oh my God.
I guess strapping that over your back, over your shoulders,
What would happen if Pete Townsend slid across his knees on the stage now?
It would be one of those. It would be one of those
like
where
a
he
$6 million man.
Like you see a baseball player slide and his cleat catches and he just launches like a catapult. You see Pete Townsend just stop and slam over, land on his face.
Slide across on his guitar under him.
His arms are stuck underneath him. He's laying there. His face is in the stage. He can't get his arms out because his body weight got it pinned down. I can see it now.
And Roger Daltrey just laughing at him.
That would be worth the price of admission.
God. Oh, they're horrible. And Bruce Springsteen too. I mean, there's things of him you can see him leaping off a piano. Like, do that, do that now. Or,
yeah,
you might be in decent shape, but your bones aren't what they used to be.
Well, you know what? After the ticket prices he's charging, he should jump off a fucking piano.
God, insane.
He should. Yeah. That's a whole other story that we beat that up for 2 episodes.
Yeah. That's another story is how this Ticketmaster thing of just raping people for tickets.
Yeah.
And they're getting way too powerful. And it doesn't even stop at the border. I don't know if you heard about that Bad Bunny concert in Mexico City.
Yeah. The counterfeit tickets,
And then people that had good tickets couldn't get in. And they charged almost as much down there as they do up here, and they make a lot less than us. So there are people that cleared out their savings account to see their favorite artists, And I know people say, oh, well, they should have known or what. No, you love an artist. I know it. If I want to see my favorite artist and I can't get in with a legitimate ticket, I'm going to be pissed. That was unforgivable.
Yeah, Ticketmaster, they got me, man. Like I had tickets I'd bought tickets for myself, Jack, and his wife. I was going to fly up to Boston and see Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Cool. Had the tickets, is on bucket list concert, and COVID hits, and Ticketmaster basically shut down their fucking phone line. Like, you couldn't get through.
Yeah.
And by the time I did get through, they said, oh, the time, your time to redeem your ticket has expired. You had, 2 weeks, or you had 14 days to get. I'm like, but you guys didn't have a functioning number. Sorry, we can't help you. Like, what am I going to take them to court for $280?
Right.
Fuckers.
But they're acting like the scalpers.
Well, they're on the radar now. Them and Live Nation. They bought Live Nation, right?
Yeah. So there was a really good op-ed in the New York Times about a month ago of an artist that explained how it bans. I've never toured. Lou, you toured, so you know about this. And he explained how the money gets divided up and the promoter is there for his own business, but to make it better for you because you bring in your fans. But Live Nation now, they take over like a small theater, and the promoter's under their thumb. So between Live Nation and Ticketmaster, everything is under that control. And the band is lucky to get, eke something out of it. And that's just not good. It's not good for music. It's not good for the fans.
That's where the band's supposed to make their money. That's how they do it,
Yeah.
And, now, who owns Ticketmaster now? Because Irvin Azoff was not I don't think he is now, but I think he was in on, he was the CEO of that at one point.
Yeah, but I'm not sure now.
So now, are they based out of New York? Because, the New York congressional delegate are looking into their dealings.
That's probably why. Or there was an event in New York that they're looking into. Like, I'm sure I've heard the Mexican government is looking into that Bad Bunny racket. Yeah. And so I guess where the incident happens, it'll be where the local district attorney can kind of like look into it.
Well, those are counterfeit tickets in Mexico. So that's kind of a different animal.
But they said that what happened was even people with legitimate tickets couldn't get in. That's why the floor. Did you see the picture of the arena?
I think what happened was the people with the counterfeit tickets got in, and then people that came up behind them that had the real tickets, they're like, this ticket's already been used.
Yeah.
That's why they couldn't get in. They're like, this is a counterfeit because we already let the other one in. And they're like, no, this is.
He let the fake one in, yeah.
So the counterfeit is, they get there early, they get in early, and that was the thing in Mexico. But Ticketmaster should know better. They should have a better system.
Yeah.
Counterfeiting has been around forever.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, we went to see David Lee Roth, and it was like one of the first times we scalped, and we bought tickets. We're in the Meadowlands Arena parking lot, and we got $20. That was a lot for a teenager. And I give the ticket to the lady, and she looks at it, and she goes, this is 1985, 86 maybe. She goes, I'm going to let you in, but don't sit in the seats, okay? Don't say I didn't do you a favor. So I'm like, what? We get in, I look. It's Meadowlands Arena, and arena was spelled AQUENA. Some teenagers. We got taken.
Did you keep that ticket?
You got in.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Oh, that'd be great to see, man. That would be hilarious if you could find that.
I'd never been to the Aquina. I bought real tickets, Mark. I got to sit in my seat. That's funny.
You're special.
Yeah, that was David Lee Roth you saw?
The second tour,
was that the Eat Smile or no? What was
no, the second. I saw him on the first tour too, but that was the
Skyscraper.
Skyscraper, yeah.
Was that with Steve Vai?
Oh yeah.
Just Like Living in Paradise, wasn't that the big song?
Yeah, that was a big song of that, and damn good, yeah.
Yeah. He fizzled. Lou, do you have any other stories?
No, I don't.
So we had on July 25th, Joni Mitchell made a return to the stage after, I don't know, it says July 25th, the legendary songwriter made her first full-length performance since 2000. Yeah. So
wasn't that in Europe?
I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me check the article.
I'm just thinking it was a festival or something.
No, it was Newport, the Newport Folk Festival.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said festival goers at this year's edition of the long-running Newport Folk Fest were treated to an incredibly rare treat this weekend, a surprise performance from Joni Mitchell. during the fest's closing set, curated by Brandy Carlisle, who served as an artistic director for the Music Care Person of the Year Gala, blah, 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 blah. Legendary singer-songwriter played 13 songs in her first full-length performance since 2000. Wow, so she did a whole set.
Yeah, it was a whole set. Wow.
Wow.
Wonder how she's held up musically.
It was Mitchell's first Newport Folk Festival appearance since 1969.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how she sounded singing, because I heard her interviewed about 3 years ago, and she's got a very smoky voice. She's still smoking heavy, you know.
Didn't she do an alternate version of what's that? I can't remember.
Big Yellow Taxi?
No, the other one.
Help me, I think I'm falling in love.
No. So I can't remember. I'm not going to even try to sing the lyrics because I'll sound like
we don't want you to.
and butterflies.
Oh, yeah, right. What's the name of that song?
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
Both sides or something?
Both sides, yeah. She
Both
does.
sides, yeah.
If you go and you can find it Amazon, YouTube. She does a version of Both Sides live with an orchestra. She's older, and it's a really different sounding version, but it's fucking as beautiful as the original.
It's a great song.
So check it out. I know Mark writes it down. Hey Lou, well, before I forget, show me the notebook.
Sure.
Dumbledore shows his notebook.
Show me the notebook.
This is notebook number 2.
You got to get a binder. You got to put them in a binder.
I hate those things. I hated those things.
Lou's
And if
gonna
you're
be like,
and if you're left-handed, it just sucks. You know, it's
you're
like
one
that
of them.
desk, that little desk you had to slide into. I couldn't use that thing. That's why I failed elementary school. This is notebook number 2.
Okay, Mark.
This is Music Relic, but you're in there too.
Look at that.
You know
What
what
the hell
this
is
is?
that?
This is my password
dog.
book for all my passwords. The cover came off and everything.
God. So organize that thing, man.
Nah, here's my notebook. This is
I
mine.
was gonna say that thing looks like. Speaking of elementary school notebooks, Jesus Christ.
Nah, I'm only 20 pages into my notebook. I'm nothing, you know.
That's all
compared
right,
to
man.
Lou.
And this is my notebook right here.
There you go.
Smart.
It helps.
Oh, it does.
helps.
Sure it does. I can't remember.
Smart
anything.
until it crashes on you and the whole system goes down and you lose everything.
Although I do, my wife, God bless her, the beautiful Dr. Vera, she got me all set up like when I first started doing this, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? I didn't know how to organize anything. I kind of had an idea of how I wanted the show to go, a format, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And, you know, you don't know how you're going to come across and conversation-wise, and you learn as you go, right? And around here somewhere, I have, she got me a notebook with a nice, like, leather case, and, you know, you put it in there, and it's got pen things, and I use that for probably the first, 6 months of the show, and it has all the notes from, like, the first 6 months, and the thing with me, though, is, and I don't know if you do this, Lou or Mark, but when I start taking notes, I basically just fucking start writing everything verbatim. Like, I can't do, like, quick crib notes. I can't do, like, I'm like, no, I'll forget
it won't
that.
make sense later. When you look at it, when it's time to look at it, like, this is a bunch of fractured words.
But
all
I
thrown
learned to make sense of it. I had to learn to make sense of it because I was writing way too much.
Right.
And then when I would read the note, like, you have to do some sort of mental prep. Like, even if it's 10 minutes before the show, you look at the note and you're like, okay, like this, like the Zach Della Rocha. I didn't read the whole article, but I did have in my head, this is what happens when you're 40-something years old and you start jumping around the stage like you did when you were 21. You know, so I kept that note and I matched it to that story. I learned to do that, and then you can kind of, because I would be reading to you my notes line for line, and it's not a good podcast flow.
Then you're like this on August 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zach de la Rocha broke his.
So I kind of, the notebook, I said, I'll just do these in my notes on my iPad, and just kind of work it that way, and it works out for me. It works, and I can just keep doing this instead of turning pages. I can just keep scrolling up. Scrolling up.
Fabulous.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back to 2021. Let's see what we got there. But let me see. Oh, so this isn't a surprise. On August 10th, we had, believe it or not, Weezer had to cancel their Broadway residency because, well, Weezer is so popular that they thought that they could have a Broadway residency. They're not.
Oh.
Weezer is a good band.
Yeah.
They're a very good band. They're a very eclectic band.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's his name? River Cuomo.
Rivers Cuomo.
Yeah, Rivers Cuomo is very talented.
Mm.
I remember back, I don't know, probably the early 2000s, or they kind of had a big fight with the record company, and they just didn't make records for some years. They just said, I'm not fucking doing this, right? And eventually the artist always wins because the record company's like, we got to get product out there.
Yeah.
But they are not popular enough to do it. It says frontman Rivers Cuomo cited low ticket sales,
Yeah.
and unbelievably high expenses when canceling plans to play their SZNZ EPs in New York. So,
see, the high prices of doing it caught them by surprise. They didn't plan that out. Come on. Yeah.
You didn't see that coming?
What is the average? What is their demographic now as far as, older Generation X or something? Or, I mean.
So we went through this yesterday or the other day. So we're boomers, right? Mark, are you a boomer or are you a Gen X?
I'm 53.
You're a millennial.
No, I'm older. I'm 50,
you're Gen X.
53.
You're 53. So you're old. Yeah. You're not a millennial?
No.
You're a Gen Xer, right?
Gen Xer.
My wife's a Gen Xer, yeah, and so then millennials come after Gen Xers, right?
My wife's a millennial, actually.
Yeah, the
my wife's millennials.
Then it goes like Gen Y, and now we're into Gen Z.
Right? Gen Z, yeah.
Listen, anything after, I'll even give them millennials, are fucking useless. That's what I'm saying. That generation's useless. Both of them. Gen Y, Gen Z, Jennifer Aniston, they're all fucking useless.
My son's a Gen Z.
I'm just saying, as a whole. We'll just say there's individual pockets, but as a whole.
Now, my son is 24, and he's liked Weezer. Not loves them, he likes them. He says that every new crop of kids in high school that get into music seem to like Weezer. They seem to be,
and that's cool,
making fans. But it's like, I always feel like Rivers, what's his name? Rivers Cuomo.
Rivers Cuomo, yeah.
I feel like when he talks, he's going to start talking about himself in third person. I think he really does think that they are a little more legendary than they are,
Yeah.
Well, they have built quite a cultish type following.
Yeah.
Right.
Before COVID, they used to do Weezer cruises.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the cruise. I know a girl I used to work with had been on a few of them. So, but you're a captive audience. You're not going out for weeks at a time. But you're not residency on this cruise ship we're trying to get 6 months out of it either.
Dude, those cruises. I used to, when I worked customs in Border Protection in Port Everglades, on Sundays we'd do overtime. It was always double time, and I would work the cruise ship terminal, just checking the passengers coming off. Doing their whatever stamping or whatever. And those cruises, dude, it's always Carnival, right? Carnival is like the lowest rent cruise line you could go on, right? I know this firsthand. I know this for a fact. The other cruise lines, they always say when a Carnival ship pulls into port, say it's like Puerto Vallarta, right? All the cruise ships are like, there goes the neighborhood.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? Because you're getting a really different crowd on the Carnival ships, right? And they're the ones that do like the Soul Train cruises. They'll do the what else, like the disco cruises, the 70s disco. And I'll tell you what, those people come off though, they are fucking happy. They had a blast. And they have all those bands. They get all the old timers, like they had Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, like one show. And, with no Teddy Pendergrass, no Harold Melvin, but still, it's one of those bands that are eternal, right?
Yeah.
eternal. There's no original members. I think we talked something maybe about that a little while back.
A lot of bands
are still going with no original members.
They have clauses like how things continue and how they allow it to continue.
Yeah.
But there's probably someone that's a relative of somebody that was in the band that managed to keep it going.
Right, and or a manager or a record company, however it goes. But they have those cruises, and Weezer used to do their own cruise. Yeah, Weezer's like Incubus. Like then, they were big in the 90s and then into the early, and then they have, and I've said this a couple times this year, they have that Grateful Dead following.
Yeah, absolutely.
People follow them, and they just fucking make a living on tour. Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah,
make a living on tour.
Yep.
They'll follow them. No matter what, you're going to have 15,000 people.
And to put on a Broadway show, I mean, my two brothers work in the theater union in Broadway. A lot of people get paid in those shows. There's payroll just for crew and all the the whole thing. It's so they probably lost some money quick, and that's why they bail.
I think they tried to pull a Green Day. Didn't Green Day do American Idiot on Broadway?
That was actually a show, though. It wasn't.
They did show. Yeah,
it was a show, right? Yeah.
Did they play in it though, or is that just a tribute to the album?
No, they did the album, and then they went ahead and I think that was probably what put them over the top for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because it was a unique concept to do a Broadway show based on their album, and I think. And I even give them credit for that. I fucking hate Green Day, as everybody knows that listens to this show, this podcast.
So they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Lou,
Lou,
they had.
You know what, Lou and Mark? You know what, Lou? You're a fucking great bite. Penalty box. Lou is in the penalty box. 30 seconds roughing the host.
Green Day are the best phenomenal fucking band in the world.
You're in the penalty box too. Now I'm on the show alone. Now I'm here by myself. Lou has 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Open the penalty box door. Lou's back. All right. You know what?
Wait. I asked I said, are they in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I had no idea.
Yes, they are. And I'm giving Mark a double minor. He's getting 60 seconds. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to call the show. I think he's trying to call the show.
They had one big album.
Hold on. All right, Mark, you're back in the game.
I can't breathe in this penalty box. 911. Oh, hey. God.
No, Lou, that was my big dig on, like, how the hell did they get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before, like, The Cure?
Carly Simon.
And yeah. Carly Simon. And Kiss, they got it before a lot of bands.
Wow.
I was like,
one album.
One album.
That was a big album.
Dookie. Remember, Dookie was their big album.
I hate that name.
Was that the breakthrough? That was
their breakthrough. Yeah, that was like 95, I think. 90,
something like that. Yeah.
94, I think. Yeah. But on July 17th, there was a rebirth of a pretty fucking great song. Because of the Netflix like just blockbuster Stranger Things, it sent season 4, I think it was season 3, season 4. Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill blasted to number 1 again. And I'll tell you what, and I had followed that, and that is a great song. She's a very unique artist. I either like her songs or I don't. I'm not like gonna lie and be like, oh, I'm a big Kate Bush fan.
Yeah.
I've listened to her albums or CDs or whatever, a playlist. I either like the songs or I don't. She's kind of like that. She's very eclectic. She's a very independent artist, independent woman. She had the rare opportunity to call her own shots in the studio and write her own music and produce her own music. They saw her, and I forget who it was you know who it was? From Pink Floyd.
David Gilmour.
David Gilmour. Kind of listened. Someone gave him a tape. A friend of his was friends with her brother, and so she gave it to her brother. Her brother gave it to his friend. His friend gave it to Gilmour, and Gilmour went, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
just a tape, a demo tape.
Same thing
with her in the studio. He paid for the whole fucking thing.
He did the same with the Dream Academy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So Life in the Northern Town. Yeah,
great
my
song.
Christmas song that Jack says isn't a Christmas song, but that was an argument.
Oh,
I love that song. I
got
always relate
between
to
you guys in
I'm
that argument.
Not going to beat that up again.
That's a great album.
Yeah, so Kate Bush shoots to number one, and at one point, she was pulling in something to the effect of $50,000 a week, some shit like that. It was this unbelievable amount of money that she's just raking it in, and she just sat at home. She hasn't done a concert in 20 years. She really has. She stopped. She stopped doing concerts. She did a couple of what do you call them? When they have like tribute
benefits or
benefits. Yeah, she did she sang that song with I forget who she sang it with, but she also did the song with Peter Gabriel too.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah, which is a great song.
Yeah. Great song.
Yep. So she had a huge resurgence, and good for her. Good for her. I always respect the and why isn't she in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You know what I mean? Why isn't Joan Armatrading in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
That's a good point. That is a really good point, Scott. Joan Armatrading. Yeah.
Joan Armatrading.
She's been around forever.
Dude, she just I think it was this year she won Best Jazz Album.
Really?
Yeah. Look up if it wasn't this year, it was last year. She still pumps it out. Joan Armatrading is such an underrated talent.
Yep.
I mean, she goes all the way back to 79, 78 with All the Way from America.
I Me Mine or something like that. Was that she had a hit?
Me, Myself, and I was 81.
Me, Myself, and I, 81. Okay.
Yeah, 81, yeah.
Me, myself,
so the story of me and Joan Armatrading, how I got turned on, I was dating this girl, and Pam Hubley, and she had 3 sisters and 2 brothers. She was the youngest. And we're hanging out at her house one day in the summer of like 80, I think it was. And she goes, hey, let's put on a record. And I said, okay. She goes, listen to this. And I didn't know who Joan Armatrading was. And she puts on Me, Myself, and I. And I was like, holy shit. This shit is good. Like, she's good. And I always, as you guys know by now, I have a tendency to lean toward female vocalists, female singers over men. But from that point on, I mean, I bought everything she had. She had put out Drop the Pilot, came out after that. And, then she kind of took a break. But Joan Armatrading has so many accolades after her name, but she is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But fucking Carly Simon with 11 greatest hits albums. Some shit like that. 7 greatest hits albums that they count in her catalog gets in. I don't get it.
Almost as many as Rod Stewart. Yeah.
When you think of the song Anticipation, what do you think of? What's in your head?
The ketchup.
The ketchup.
Heinz ketchup.
Mark, you remember the commercials?
Anticipation.
Yeah. That's early licensing too.
Yeah, absolutely. She was one of the first sellouts. Remember, that was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Like artists, don't sell out. No. Oh yeah, they all do eventually.
The Who sell out.
Yeah.
Heinz baked beans.
But personally, I'm a Hunt's ketchup guy. I like the
really?
Hunt's extra thick.
I like the Hunt's, but I don't like the high fructose corn syrup in it. So I like the Hunt's natural.
Yeah, I get the natural, extra thick kind of stuff.
Oh, you guys, Heinz. It's got to be Heinz.
Yeah.
And I'm also in the peanut butter department. I'm a Peter Pan guy.
Oh,
I'm that guy. Yeah, you can have Jif, you can have Skippy, all you want. I'm a Peter Pan guy. I like my Peter Pan peanut butter.
Scott, I got to tell you, it's peanut spread. It's peanut spread. The industry took over. I worked in natural food stores and stuff, and peanut butter. What is peanut butter now is sauce. And you make Thai food with it. You cannot make a peanut butter sandwich with this stuff because it just glops all over the place. But I know the labeling changed when I worked for Whole Foods. The stuff we like, and I like it too, it's 90% peanuts at least, but it's got that consistency where you can make a sandwich out of it. So it's got some oils in it, but to me that I can't do the other stuff.
Look at Lou. He can go any direction, can't he? Fucking utility.
You want to talk about peanut butter?
Utility man. Utility man. He just gave me a lesson in peanut butter. There's a supermarket down here.
It's a bone of contention with me because I hate what's called peanut butter now. It's ridiculous.
There's a supermarket down here called Publix. It's a Florida supermarket. And
yeah.
they make their own peanut butter. It comes in a clear plastic square container, and that shit's good. That's real. Like it has the oil. The oil sits, rises to the top overnight. You got to stir it up. You know.
There was like Schmuckers back in the
Schmuckers, yeah. The one, they got both stripes, right?
There's a Publix in Weaverville. That's next town over from Asheville, so they're up here in North Carolina.
There you go. All right. And
that reminds me of going to Florida for the first time, being like, I can buy beer in a supermarket.
In a supermarket, I know, right?
They're so alien to me, In New Jersey, you don't do that. Now,
and by the way, the proper way to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is you put the peanut butter on the bread, you put the jelly on top of the peanut butter, then you put the bread on top of that. I'm not hearing any other way. Don't tell me peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other, and the two shall meet. No, you got to.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Concord grape. That's it.
I never do. I can't do them together. I hate it. Peanut butter and jelly. As a kid, I hated it. I was an outcast. Separately, yeah. Together, no.
Really?
Can't do it. I hate it. It's horrible to me.
Lou's been traumatized by PBJs.
Like, you can't imagine. Like, no, I don't put it on. I open my lunchbox like a fucking horror show. The Clockwork Orange.
And my peanut butter sandwiches weigh about a half a pound too.
Oh yeah. The breads are relevant.
My mother one time looked at me making a peanut butter sandwich with an absolute, I'll never forget this, I was a teenager, an absolute look of disgust on her face. And she said, "Oh my God, you're going to eat that?" And as I picked it up, and it was like a quarter pounder. Loaded.
We saw the peanut butter and mayo thing too. So that looked interesting.
I did that.
I saw that. That looked interesting.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad to tell you the truth.
Have you ever made grilled cheese?
I know.
Have you ever made a grilled cheese with mayo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My friend did it
instead of butter. Instead of butter.
So it's tangier. It's kind of does it get the bread crispy like it should?
A little bit, but you got to watch it because it'll burn. It burns faster than butter. But,
okay. What's your brand of mayo? You're a Kraft guy, I think. Was it Kraft?
Kraft, only the national brand, but Cane's mayonnaise, they make it in New England, is the absolute greatest. And I've been all around the country. The greatest mayonnaise ever made is Cane's mayonnaise.
Okay.
You can get it off of famousfoods.com. It's all New England foods.
Okay. I'm writing that down. I love
Cane's
mayo.
mayonnaise. Pay for one jar, have it delivered. You fucking will not be disappointed. If you're a mayo guy, you will not be disappointed. Okay. So I will reimburse you for the jar and the delivery if you don't like it.
That's a deal.
I will all you gotta say is I will trust you. You're like, I don't really like it. I will Zelle you or Venmo you the cost.
So you two foodies.
We'll give you your money back if you don't like it. I
like French fries with mayonnaise.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
Absolutely.
And people look at me like I'm just crazy. And I heard it's Costa Ricans tend to, and Costa Ricans like that. Yeah. So I love that.
You know what I ordered?
I've done it. It's good.
I ordered today that I like even better than mayonnaise, but it has tartar sauce.
Oh yeah.
Tartar sauce and French fries.
Yeah. Really?
You can't go wrong. Oh, it's so good.
I'll try it.
So good.
I love tartar sauce. I'll try it.
Just get a side of tartar sauce if you're at a restaurant that has a fish with tartar, and yeah, it's a winner. So let's get back to music.
Yes.
Let's see. Apple on May 10th. It's kind of a music story. Apple back on May 10th discontinued the iPod. Yeah. They said after a year, less than a year after celebrating its 20th anniversary, the industry-changing music player rode off into the sunset, still full of mislabeled MP3s downloaded from LimeWire and Napster in 2003. So my wife is a techie, and she likes like all the gadgets. She's a gadget girl, right? She has the original iPod Nano.
Me too.
Little square one.
Yeah.
And the thing, those things are going for like $600 on the secondary market.
Really?
Look them up because they have like 15 gigs in them. Like that was unheard of. Now, and there's a way that they hack them and they can give them more space. And it's that little Look up the cost of what they're going on the second. It's $300 to $600 last time I checked.
I got the very first iPod with the boring black and white screen and everything.
I think she has, I think she
and I got the latest one. So yeah,
I got this glass kind of like plate. It's a big glass plate, and it's full of antiquated cell phones and an iPod type items. And I look at some of these phones, and my wife, most of them are hers. That it's really like, I'll take a picture of them and send it to you, and you're gonna look and go, I had that one.
Pretty funny, yeah.
I skipped out. I had that one. You know, they used to be small, and then all of a sudden they get big, then they get small, then they get, and you have some with the stylus. Remember the stylus was?
Oh,
it was
yeah.
famous. It was good, then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But
I had the slide out. I had the slide out QWERTY keyboard.
I have. I'll send you a picture. My wife keeps all that stuff. It's
heavy.
amazing.
I was a BlackBerry guy for years. I had to be dragged for my BlackBerry. I loved it.
I was the chirp. I was the chirp guy. Nextel. I love the Nextel.
Yeah.
The walkie-talkie.
Mm-hmm.
That they had a copyright on that chirp for like 4 years. They had the rights to that, the intellectual property rights to that chirp. That when you would press it on a Nextel. Yeah. The walkie-talkies.
Wow.
Let's see. It says on April 19th, it was basically announced that there's no Radiohead at the moment, with Tom York and Johnny Greenwood spending 2022 focused on their new band, The Smile, which Jack went to see last month. Guitarist Ed O'Brien cast doubt on Radiohead's future, saying that they would probably reunite, but might not. That's interesting. Yeah.
Probably, but might not.
Yeah. So in other words, the other band members aren't happy. They're not happy with it.
They'll cool down. They'll be back.
Money talks.
So. Yeah.
They'll tour with Oasis.
Oh, look at you stirring the flames.
There we go.
Oasis are coming back. I know it.
No way. Hey, you know what? As a matter of fact, I listened to some of Liam Gallagher's new album. I'll tell you what, his stuff is good, man. His first album, I think when he went solo, was called As You Were. It was okay. It was okay. His voice didn't really sound like Liam Gallagher. Like, it sounded a little different to me, but although it is Liam Gallagher. But I listened, as his albums go on, he gets better and he gets better, and he does tour. He just doesn't come to the States. I would I would go see him before I would see Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, I think.
Okay.
Liam Gallagher is a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
He's one of the last rock stars.
Yes, yeah. Kind of a classic type.
Just, what's that?
In one of Bob Dylan's recent Cranky interviews, he mentioned like what he thinks of some modern music. He says he likes the Oasis brothers, as he calls them. But he I guess he thinks highly of the Gallaghers. You know, so
they're fucking talented. Listen, they're talented.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool, like when an old icon would listen to. He's seen Metallica. He went to see Metallica play.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he's got his ear to the ground. But, you know, I'd say his praise doesn't come lightly. I mean, but
evidently he's not a big fan of what's the guitarist, the guy that he's like one of those virtuoso guitarists.
Yngwie Malmsteen. Steve
not Steve, the other guy.
Rock Eye or
he plays he's a solo guy. He just plays the guitar. We know who he is.
Is it Ed Sheeran, a newer guy?
No. He's been around for a while. Yeah, Bob Dylan criticized him, saying that if he had sang with what's the country guy? Hank Williams. He said, he would have ruined the song because that's the way he does things. And this guy pops back like, wow, Bob Dylan knows who I am. You know who he is. You see him all over the internet. Like, he's always doing concerts. Oh, what the hell? He's a really good guitar player.
Is he like bluesy, or is he
older
kind of
guy?
like a Steve Vai type?
He's kind of a little of both, I think. Either way, it doesn't matter.
It's not Joe Bonamassa, is it?
Yeah, that's it, I think.
Oh, really?
I think it's him. Yeah, I think it's him.
Oh, boy. Joe Bonamassa.
Perry would be glad to hear that.
Yeah, I believe it's him. And he was like, you mean he knows who I am or something like that, you know?
Wow.
And he said, then he pops back. He says, well, you know what? I don't think he's right. I think me and Hank would have worked it out, and it would have come out good. So there you go. Screw Bob Dylan too, old cranky old fuck.
I love him. Not everything's done.
September 9th, John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten, former members of the Sex Pistols sparred all year, but perhaps the strangest moment was when John Lydon, Johnny Rotten, famously anti-monarchical singer, posted a sincere tribute to the late Queen. Evidently, he liked her.
He softened.
He got older, and, well, don't we all?
Yeah.
Let me see. We talked about this earlier. November 17th was the Ticketmaster disaster. And on November 20th, and I say good riddance, Elton John's final North American show. The Rockman's seemingly endless farewell tour finally brought him to his last ever North American show in Los Angeles. He will move on to Australia and Europe in 2023.
That tour never ended.
I don't believe it.
That tour just went on and on, like the Kiss tour.
I don't think he's ever done. I don't think he's done. These people can't live like that. They need that adulation. They need that attention. They need that crowd. It's part of their soul after a while.
Yeah. I think they really go when they know they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I know some people saw a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it was great.
Yeah.
So I guess he's still putting on a good show.
So we got deaths in 2022. Lou, give me your theory on the month that you think is cursed.
Well, I know maybe not this month, but January seems to be pretty cruel for rock and roll deaths. If you look back on that, was it in 2016? It was David Bowie.
I looked at that yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Glenn Frey, Neil Peart.
Yeah.
And there were a couple others I didn't look up specific about. In the course of the year, and even the years before that, I'm like, January is kind of rough. Happy New Year.
This past January, we had, do you know who Don Wilson is? Don Wilson. Played with the you guitar guys. Something about that.
Jeez, he stumped us.
Yeah.
Nice.
He passed away in January, last January. Meatloaf.
Yep,
passed away January 20th. Let's see.
January 20th. There you go.
Yeah.
That cruel month.
Ronnie Spector passed away last January 12th.
January 12th.
Yeah. And, there was some other people, lesser known people. They kind of wrote everybody in there. It looks to me, though, that this year, I think April was in April, or was it May? April has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then May has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 also. So April and May were kind of rough.
Yeah.
You had, let me see, in February, as it's spelled in front of me.
Be more Pacific, will you?
That's right. The godmother of funk, Betty Davis, passed away. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever listened to her. There's a great documentary on her, on Betty Davis. I can't remember the name of it offhand, but it's fascinating. If you don't know about her, you're going to learn about her, and you're going to be like, damn, this girl was something, man. She was a different type of girl. She was talented. Betty Davis, and I tell this story, and they tell this in the documentary, she was married to Miles Davis. But Davis wasn't her maiden name. It was her married name. They got divorced. Lost Lou.
P-break.
So
I'm next.
Betty Davis, they asked her, they said, why'd you keep his last name? And she said, because I fucking earned it.
That's true.
Yeah.
He hit Cicely Tyson.
If you got to take a break, Mark, go do it now, buddy. I'm serious. Go do it. I'll take it.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Sure?
I'm waiting for the drum solo. Oh, wait. Lou's going to kill me on that one.
Lou just dropped off the earth. Like, where's Lou? Let me see. So that was February. Willie Lecoq was from Lecox. Willie Lecox from America.
Yeah.
Let me see. Ian McDonald from King Crimson.
Yeah. Talented guy. Well, King Crimson and Foreigner.
And Foreigner, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Langan from the Screaming Trees. Passed away. Let me see. Let's go on to March, where we had Taylor Hawkins. You believe that was March?
That long ago already, huh?
Wow.
Well, it took a while for them to get the tribute concert together.
Yeah, but it just doesn't seem like it was that long. Let me see. Tracy Braxton. I think she's the sister of Tony Braxton.
Oh.
I think. Jeff Howell from Foghat.
Yeah. Passed
away on March 5th. Then we get into April, where we had Naomi Judd. Saw something today that it's Winona Judd is going out on tour, and it's the Judd's final tour. So I wonder how they're going to do this. It has to incorporate video.
Yeah. Because weren't there three? It was Winona and her sister?
Wasn't it just, it was Winona and the mother. It was the mother and the daughter. And Naomi.
It'll be the hologram, the dreaded hologram.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Randy Rand from the One Hit Wonder group Autograph. That was in 87. Let me see, 84. Like 84, they had I forget the name of their hit, but it was
Turn Up the Radio.
Look at you, buddy. Turn up the radio.
I was a hair metal guy. Yeah, that was my scene.
I was I remember that song. I think they played down here in Fort Lauderdale during spring break when I came down here. I think they had a concert. Autograph. It was a big deal going at the time. Let me see. Andrew Woolfolk from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Rick Turner from, no, it's not Autosave. Who else? No one really. Oh, Joe Messina from the Funk Brothers. Let me see. Then in May, we had, and I'm trying to pick Ronnie Hawkins, Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode originally.
Didn't know that.
Alan White from Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
That killed me.
Let me see. Mickey Gilley, country legend, right?
Yeah.
And Rick Parnell from Spinal Tap. And then
not the drummer.
Yeah. Lost another drummer. Then in June, collapse this, we had Brett Tuggle.
I know that name.
Brett Tuggle from, it had to be the original Fleetwood Mac.
Oh. Had to have
somebody
been
else
because
probably.
Wasn't one of the guitarists, the many that played with him. Yeah, probably when they were a blues band.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We had Jim Seals from Seals and Croft.
Yep.
And Alec John Such from Bon Jovi, right? That
kind of surprised me.
Then in July, we had Bob Heathcote from Suicidal Tendencies. Was he the lead singer?
No,
Was he
I don't think so.
Guitar player?
Don't know.
Paul Ryder from the Happy Mondays. That was July. Jesus, this stuff seems like I just did a show on it like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
July. Wow. William Hart from the Delphonics. And Manny Charlton from Nazareth. Right?
No, Dan McCafferty from Nazareth.
They
the
say
singer.
July 5th, 2022. Manny Charlton from Nazareth.
Oh, so two guys from Nazareth died
I
this
guess
year.
so,
Wow.
yeah. I guess so. Then we had in August, Jerry Allison from the Crickets, Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Olivia Newton-John. Daryl Hunt from the Pogues. He played that the flute, the tin flute. I think it's called. Something like that. Let me see. Judith Durham from the Seekers. Sam Gooden from the Impression. And in September, it was kind of a quiet month. Coolio. Coolio, the 90s.
I love Coolio.
Rap icon who went on to voice in Rugrats, I believe. He did a voiceover in Rugrats. Hey, do me a favor, text Lou and see what happened. He just You blow a fuse.
That's all he blew.
September, also we had John Hartman from the Doobie Brothers. Who's Ramsey Lewis? That sounds familiar.
Jazz, piano player.
That's right.
I don't like to say pianist because it always comes out wrong.
That came out wrong, by the way. That came out wrong. In October, we had, for you punk rock fans, D.H. Peligro from the Dead Kennedys. Had Jerry Lee Lewis passed on October 28th. Greg Philbin from REO Speedwagon passed away. Angela Lansbury, classy lady, Mary Poppins, Murder She Wrote, all the way through. She passed away, but she was also a very talented singer.
Yes.
And in October, on October 4th, Loretta Lynn passed away. Yeah. Then we come up to November, last month. Let me see. Jeff Cook from Alabama. Dan McCafferty from Nazareth.
Okay.
There you go. Gary Roberts from the Boomtown Rats. Keith Levine from The Clash. Irene Cara. What a feeling.
By the way, just throwing that Keith Levine was also in Public Image Limited too.
There you go. That's right. He was. Yes, he was. Yep. And the late, great Christine McVie.
Yeah.
So isn't it kind of, as the song says, isn't it ironic? That car commercial starts popping everywhere with that Christine McVie song.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to be with you everywhere.
Right after she died.
And it was actually right before she died.
Oh, okay.
It was kicked off before she died, and the song kind of got this big resurgence, and then she passes away. It's like, at least she got her, I guess, moment in the sun with everybody listening to that song, and it starts getting played again, and it got kind of popular again. It's a great song. It's a great song. And as I said, some of my favorite Fleetwood Mac songs are pretty much all her hits. Any
Fleetwood Mac fan knows that they know how. She's the glue that kept the band together.
Dude,
Mick Fleetwood, you know?
Yeah, I saw it was one of these rare outtakes of her and Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks was just a kid, it seemed like, and Steve McVie was a little older, you could see, but not much. And they were doing some sort of spot, like a promo, and Stevie Nicks. Let's see, and he's back.
Hey,
there you go. What happened?
I went out for a pizza.
Lisa's again, Lou. Lisa's.
Go to hell, Smith.
Lisa's rocks. Lisa's is the best pizza in Westwood, New Jersey.
I got a bad eighth there one time, so I never went back. All right.
A bad eighth? You call it an eighth?
I think it's a drug reference, I got a bad slice there one time.
Well, I figured there's 8 slices in a pizza. You guys had some sort of lingo for it's an eighth of a pizza.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what it is. Now, one reason why I don't like going there is when I was dating my first wife, we went to the China Club or whatever, the JP Anthony's, wherever it was, and she saw the guy. This owner's son was there, and she was like all over the guy. Like, I'm like, she's talking to him for far too long. Far too long. I'm being this is disrespectful to me.
Look at dude. Lou is popping the finger. He's like a teacher. He's got a natural guttural reaction.
35 years later, I'm all in the bygones. But I remember I said, I'm never going to eat that fucking pizza again.
Time out.
Yeah.
Perry Dieterman says the working class zero is home. The Russian bot. And he said, not pizza disputes again. Is this a music relish thing? Is it?
Oh yeah.
Well, after hearing the story, Lou, I will never mention Lisa's Pizza again. I didn't know it was personal. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
So Lou said he had a bad eighth. I might have had a bad eighth, but I've never had a bad 8-ball. So let's just kind of, move on from that.
Yeah, please.
Let's move on from that.
Let's just pan away from that material.
Oh, by the way, Lou, we're in our hour of doom here. We're talking about deaths.
Okay. Yeah, you missed like May, June, July, August, September.
Oh man, what did I miss? I mean,
I'm crossing out on my list.
I wasn't gone that long.
Yeah, well, there's really there's a lot, but there's probably people that you knew about that I didn't really talk about.
Well, there's one you got to leave for Lou, and Lou knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
we just discussed him. So
yeah,
who's that?
Dino Danelli.
Coolio
died.
Coolio fan?
No, I'm not really. What month are we? You've done these by months. That's great.
Yeah, I had them by months and date and the day they died.
Who died in August?
So in August, I have not to be repetitive, I have pretty much Jerry Allison from the Crickets.
Okay.
Olivia Newton-John, Daryl Hunt from the Pogues, Judith Durham from the Seekers, Sam Gooden from the Impressions, and that was August. There was a couple of people that like Stuart Anstis from Cradle of Fifth. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
Darius Campbell Dinesh, Creed Taylor, Mabel John. I got everybody.
Yeah.
It's been a bad time for drummers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we went in now October, November. We just finished November.
Okay.
Christine McVie.
Yeah.
Irene Cara, Keith Levine.
I'm more of a Christine McVie fan than Stevie.
I just said that, yeah.
Of the gals, yeah.
I had said, you cannot deny Stevie Nicks' music. You can't deny her sound. You can't deny her talent. But I just always liked Christine McVie's, her voice. Mm-hmm. And I told you, man, I watched a video of them from probably like 10 years ago live. She looked better when she was 60 than she did when she was 40. Like, I looked at her and went, damn, she's kind of fucking hot at 60.
She aged well.
She really did. Like, she has a typical British kind of look, that kind of almost a plain Jane beauty.
Almost a plain Jane, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not unsexy.
But there was something about her. But I looked at her while she was singing. I went, even if she had makeup on, I'm like, she looked long and lean and just really very pretty woman. I was like, damn.
So take that, Stevie.
But she always got overshadowed by Stevie Nicks. Absolute beauty. It's absolute natural. Talk about a natural beauty. Stevie Nicks was that. She needed no makeup. She needed no nothing. Stevie Nicks was a hottie.
Sure.
I put a video on lately on Facebook.
I saw that.
And I swear she's on stage doing Gold Dust Woman. It's at the end when it's like they're really kind of rocking out. And she's standing there, and she has on that fucking black witch garb that she always wore. She should fucking tone that down and just just be 74, right? And she's standing there, and she starts like shaking her head and waving her hands and shaking her fists and rocking her head and throwing. And I posted, she looked like a fucking bag lady. She did, and I don't, I'm like
having a fit.
And exactly like the crazy bag lady. That's what I said. She looks like a crazy bag lady.
She was banging her head in a geriatric way, like it hurt. Yeah,
like she can't make in her head. She thinks she's fucking 24, but you're 74. Like 74-year-old people can't move like that anymore. No. They just don't. They look bad. They look old.
There must be a massage therapist on the staff at all times, and I
don't know, but it just was a bad video, bad scene. Like, just stay cool, lady. Stay cool. You're fucking Stevie Nicks.
Sing your songs.
Yeah, you're Stevie Nicks. Just kind of live the energy in your head. Don't act it out, because again, with the fucking witch garb, the black flowing.
She was twirling. She used to twirl.
Yeah.
That was the thing. There was the twirling.
And she could do that. And she was beautiful at doing it. She was a fucking piece of art up on stage, no doubt. She had it down. She had her frontman persona, right? Mm-hmm. But not when you're 74. Like, change the fucking clothes. Like, she had clothes that these are like what she wore in 79 on tour. Like, and God bless her because she still fits into it, I assume. Yeah. So, she didn't go that route, at least.
Don't forget, once a witch, always a witch. She's a witch. So they don't change their clothes. They dress the same.
But she doesn't, like, she aged. Witches usually don't age. She's aged. That's true. Witches are kind of smooth. They're kind of cool, Like, I'm just saying that my wife, if you see a picture of her today and you look at a picture of her 10 years ago when I met her on Facebook, go through all my pictures, I don't care. She looks fucking exactly the same. I tell her, there's something wrong with you. Like, it's good. It's good, but is this something you want to tell me here? Because you got some unbelievable genetics.
Some people are ageless.
Yeah. Not a wrinkle on her face, nothing. And she's only 53, but still. But Stevie Nicks, the clothing and like wear a nice black gown and just stand in front of the mic and be Stevie Nicks. At least that's my opinion. The dancing thing was kind of crazy. Ain't it crazy? Let me see. In November again, Christine McVie, Irene Cara, Keith Levine from The Clash, and and Public Image Limited, Gary Roberts from the Boomtown Rats, and the second member of Nazareth that died, Dan McCafferty, Jeff Cook from Alabama, Mimi Parker from Low, Aaron Carter, and the rapper Takeoff from Migos. He died on November 1st. Then in December, we had a second member of the Specials die, Terry Hall.
Yeah.
Who was the first? Did I pass that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I thought let me see. Ducks, Foo Fighters, Mike Cross from Sponge, Foghat. Because I know another one passed away.
Somebody from Foghat died?
Yeah. Let me see. Who was it? Jeff Howell.
He must have been like a third generation Foghat
you know what?
member.
And I think that's what we kind of run into here, a couple of these. And then there might like Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode, right?
Yep.
Which one was he?
He's a keyboard player, wasn't he?
He was the keyboard player? Yeah. That's right, he was, yeah. And then let me see. Who else was it from?
I don't have another member of the Specials dying. I just Googled who died from the Specials. It was only Terry Hall.
Oh, okay. I must see. Yeah, Terry Hall from the Specials and Dino Danelli drummer from the Rascals, right?
Okay. Lou's going to talk about that. I'll be right back. This is really big. I'll be back. I'll be right back. I got
Enjoy your Lisa's pizza.
He's got to go to the bathroom. He was waiting for you to come back so he could go take a break.
And that hasn't happened in months, Scott. The figures that happen, it's just you said no. You said it's inevitable, so you put the jinx on it.
Not a good way to start the show, right?
Yeah, I'm putting the blame back on you. I got an interface. It hasn't happened in months. That was just a glitch. Anyway,
like you were there, then boink, you're gone. Jim Stewart died December 5th. American Hall of Fame record producer, co-founder of what record company?
Jim Stewart?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stax.
Wow. I never heard of him.
Stax Records, yeah.
So he started Stax, well, that's back in the 60s.
Yeah, he was 92.
Okay,
died,
wow.
So, but Dino Danelli, drummer from the Rascals.
Great drummer.
I hated like 60s music for the longest time. Right, I hated 60s music. I don't know. It just gave me like
you grew up in the 60s. You were a kid in the 60s.
I know. And in the 70s, I loved the 70s music, and then as I got like into this, I hated listening to 60s music. I don't know why. I just didn't like. It gave me like an uneasy feeling. Like I have a friend of mine who cannot listen. He cannot listen to Motown. He gets physically like it just makes him feel uncomfortable. He has bad memories because of. He grew up in like Brooklyn in New York in the 60s or the 70s, and it's just had a bad experience. I don't know if he got beat up or, he was a little Jewish guy. And he like, I would play Motown on my cubicle, and he would just be like, Scotty, can you kind of, I was like, all right, Mikey, I get it.
That sucks to have that kind of catalog, that
and he just
bunch
can't
of music
listen
that
to
you
it.
can't listen to it, you know.
So I got this kind of this new appreciation for groups like, you know, the Rascals and these 60s songs. Of all places, watching these fucking infomercials on 60s greatest hits, right? And they show the bands today, and they do the little talk about, in 1967, the Rascals, blah, 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 or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just thought, I said, you know what? This is it once again. Once again, it's the beauty of music. Yes, it never goes away, and it's always there to be rediscovered, reliked, not liked, and then reliked again, right? And I started listening. I go, you know what? This is some good shit. Like, I'm kind of glad I paid. I for some reason, I love infomercials, like those music infomercials. The way they do them is so campy. I just can't stop watching.
Oh, sure.
I've watched literally like 4 hours in a row of these things on Saturday because it's Time Life, right? Time Life presents hits of the 60s, and then it turns into like, you know,
do you remember back when
the
you're
70s and Time Life presents, and I watched like 4 fucking hours of that shit, and I liked it. I was like, this, it's just, I don't know, the way they do it. I love that campy shit, but yeah, I've kind of got a whole new appreciation for 60s music. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable anymore.
That's good.
Don't ask me why. It's kind of weird.
I was like that with 50s music. Like, I love the 60s stuff. I mean, all that, I love the psychedelic period. All the garage rock is that's my thing. That is my main thing, is garage rock. 1966. It's just, so I love it. But 50s stuff just used to leave me like this weird. My father had like an 8-track of 50s hits with "Let the Good Times Roll." It just sounded weird. A lot of it sounded weird to me, but that was the birth of it, really.
Yeah.
And so last year or so, I've gone back, and besides like Buddy Holly and the Everlys, I'm like, there's some really good shit there, some really amazing singers. But I heard Little Richard's Lucille a couple months ago with my son, and we're like, we heard the beat, and that guy, he's freaking pounding the drum. It's a hard driving song. It just doesn't sound like it compared to Highway Star by Deep Purple by our references. But when I heard
that's a pretty extreme reference, but I know what you're saying.
But going back to the 50s, I said that had to be if we were young then, we would have been like, of course that scared the shit out of your parents.
Well,
yeah.
But listen back to some of the primitiveness of it now. I'm like, I have a new appreciation for 50s music, which used to leave me feeling squirrel. I don't know. It seemed too old. They were just weird, but it's good that you can find something,
You know that song, You Keep a Knocking, that Jerry Lee Lewis, right?
Can't come in.
Listen to the drums on that. Listen to those drums, and then listen to the intro to Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. John Bonham was really playing that drum line.
Yeah,
so for the 50s had some seriously heavy rock in its own way, and then it kind of went quiet because a lot of those guys, some of them died. Elvis went in the army. We were talking about this, Lou, right? Rock kind of got wimpy again, and in the 60s it kind of regenerated.
The early 60s in particular, I mean, there was a lot of shit there. I mean, Sugar Shack was the #1 song in 1963. Did you talk about Bobby Rydell dying?
I don't think I did. Did I?
No.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not dead. I just want him to be. No, that's terrible. That's not. No, he
listen,
died.
I've said that about a couple of artists this year and mortified Jack. So.
Well, he had those things like, he had that teen schmoll. It was just bad stuff. That stuff paved the way for the Beatles. But so I think from the British invasion on, the 60s were cool. But in the beginning, except for Motown, which unfortunately some people don't like. But yeah, it's terrible.
Well, Mark, I think you just mentioned the drum beat for rock and roll and the drum beat for I Hear You Knocking. Dave Grohl in an interview recently, and I've talked about this recently. Said that the opening drum hits for Smells Like Teen Spirit, he said he got them from the Gap band, I Dropped the Bomb on You.
Wow.
Yeah, it's either I Dropped the Bomb on You or with his Party Train, one or the other. But he got it from them, from the Gap band, that drum beat, that drum hit at the beginning.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's what you talk about, the influences, because like Lou mentioned Deep Purple when he was talking about Little Richard. Listen to that. Well, Ian Gillan in general, but listen to Speed Queen from the In Rock album. He is Little Richard when you hear him scream. He's and that was his big influence. He's basically an updated Little Richard.
Well, Little Richard probably should have got the moniker of, I would think, King of Rock and Roll.
Yeah,
I think so. Because he was, top groundbreaker, trendsetter, absolute original, like
wild.
Yeah, and Jerry Lee Lewis was more like rockabilly. It could be more kind of construed, I think, as you know what I mean.
Definitely more country and more obviously country.
Seemed to have a little more country influence in his song, in his music. But Little Richard was rock and roll. That dude was just rock and roll.
What month did Jerry Lee Lewis die? You did mention him. I'm sure.
Last January.
Last January. Another January. I'm telling you, it's fucking wild.
No, let me see. Jerry Lee Lewis, Meatloaf died in January. Let me see.
Meatball.
Jerry Lee Lewis died in
like a meatball out of hell.
Lou, do you know who Willie LaCox is?
I do not.
I guess he was with America. He might have been like the replacement.
Willie Lee Cox, right?
Lee Cox, yeah.
He was the Wait, was he the drummer?
I'm not sure.
There was yes, he was a drummer. Another drummer bought it. Come on, man. Holy shit.
Lou, stay home.
So who are we looking for? Do you know who Joe Messina is, Lou? I don't think you're here for that.
Joe Messina? I have heard of him. Was he a songwriter?
Funk Brothers.
Okay.
The Funk Brothers, yeah. Weren't they the Motown?
That was a Motown band, yeah.
Backup band, right?
Do you know what he played? He was a guitarist.
I was going to say, hopefully not drums.
One of the few white guys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, yeah. Let me see. Jerry Lee Lewis. Why can't I find him now?
I don't think it was January. I think that was
it was October. October 28th.
Yeah.
October 28th, yeah.
And I thought we all thought he had died already, So
we talked about him last Sunday, and when Perry asked the question, he goes, "Who was the artist that showed up at Elvis's house brandishing a pistol, bitching about the fact that Elvis got better press?"
Jerry Lee Lewis.
It was Jerry Lee Lewis.
Now, there's a podcast called Disgraceland. I think I mentioned this before. If you want to hear some crazy ass stories, that is a great podcast. I think it's like 4 years old now.
Do you know who the host is?
It's some kid.
Okay.
He came up with this, and what he does is he takes specific stories, not like they talk about Keith Richards. Like there's one episode on the Rolling Stones, and he gives the story of how Mick Jagger came up in Keith Richards with the song "Faraway Eyes," right? The girl with faraway eyes off Some Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Track it down. It's the podcast is called Disgraceland.
Okay.
And like I said, it only zeroes in on specific moments in a band's career. It's not a biography of the band. Specific moments, specific stories within the career of the band, and they really break down these stories, and it's done amazingly well. They I think their first year they got some podcast award for best new or fastest growing podcast or something. But Disgraceland, and for music people, it's just a good listen, and they're not long. I think they're 30-minute episodes maybe.
Okay.
But the logo is like a zombie Elvis, right? You can't miss it. Disgraceland. All right, so I think we covered all the deaths. We covered all the news.
You missed a few. You missed a few.
Yeah. Give it up.
All
Give it up.
All right, you want me to fill in a couple?
Yeah.
Gary Brooker from Procol Harum.
That's true.
Okay.
Vangelis.
Dun, 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 dun.
Michael Lang, who, Woodstock, the promoter. And my dad got to know Michael Lang, and really nobody liked him in that area because of what he did to the area. Dino, I was going to wait for it. Herbert Deutsch, the co-creator of the Moog, Lou.
That's right. Bob Moog didn't act alone.
Yep. Gal Costa, who was a bossa nova tropicalia singer from Brazil, one of my favorites, passed away. Lucy Simon, sister of Harley, they were a folk duo.
All right. That is why Carly Simon didn't appear at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because her sister just passed away.
Oh, okay.
Like then.
And Pharoah Sanders, fabulous, great
saxophone
jazz saxophone player.
Right.
That's all I got. You got any, Luke?
Yeah. Did you guys? Well, you mentioned Jerry Lee Lewis. Did you mention Ramsey Lewis, the jazz piano player? But pops.
I think I did. Did I?
Yeah. Okay. Scott got him. Yeah.
Did you mention Ronnie Hawkins, the Hawk?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't. Yeah.
You got him. Yeah.
Screw you guys. How about Mickey Gilley? I mean, I was abducted by aliens. Mickey Gilley, Naomi Judd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bobby Rydell. Lamont Dozier.
He throws in Bobby Rydell. I hope he's dead.
If he's not, I'm going to find him.
Lamont Dozier?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
That was a big one. I don't know what month.
Who is it? Give us a background.
Lamont Dozier. He was one of the main songwriters from Motown. It was Holland Dozier and Holland.
That's right. Holland Dozier and Holland. That's right.
Yeah.
William Hart of the Delphonics, the Philly soul band.
Betcha by golly, wow. Yeah.
Great.
Jim Seals.
Yep, I mentioned that. Yeah.
Okay. How about I got Ian McDonald, the Foreigner, and King Crimson.
Scott got him.
Yep.
Okay, Scott got him. Drummer, legendary 60s drummer Sandy Nelson. Who's Sandy Nelson? You might
I didn't
ask.
get him.
Okay. He was a studio drummer. He played on the Teddy Bears. To Know Him Is to Love Him, written by Phil Spector. The Hollywood Argyles, Alley Oop. You know that song?
Yep.
So he had three instrumental hits. Was it Teen Beat number 4, Let There Be Drums, and something else. But anyway, I saw a video of the guy. He lost his right foot and part of his left leg in a motorcycle accident in '63. So I saw a recent video of him playing a drum solo. I'm like, his body's twisted. His left leg is doing what the right leg is doing. It was freaking amazing. Yeah. And the guy's really good. But I remember seeing those videos as a kid. The guy was a really great drummer. Yeah, he just passed away. And that's it for the dead people, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Well,
I know where I found
some great artists in there.
I know where I found where I remember earlier I had said Terry Hall from the Specials. There's another. It's in Birthdays.
Oh, okay.
One of the specials. But so let's get into top 10 this week. 25 years ago.
What year was that?
1997. Yeah. So coming in at number 10 this week, 25 years ago, My Love Is the Shh by Something for the People, featuring Trina and Tamara. See, this is amazing, right? Like, who the fuck are they?
No idea.
Like, that is a blip on this, like, that's a sunspot, like shooting out of the sun, right?
Is there a certain chart this is off of, or is it?
It's just the top 10.
Billboard?
No, I have a whole thing. It's all the U.S. top 40 singles from every week up to
Vinny's chart.
Current. Number 9 this week, 25 years ago in 1997, Truly, Madly, Deeply by Savage Garden.
That one.
Number 8 this week in 1997, Show Me Love by Robin. You got to show me love. I like that song. Number 7 this week, Feels So Good by Mace. Number 6 this week in 1997, My Body by LSG. Let me see. Number 5, It's All About the Benjamins and Been Around the World. Puff Daddy and the Family. Right? It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Number 4 this week. Number 4 this week. 1997, Together Again by Janet. Assuming that's Janet Jackson.
I think Janet Jackson, yeah.
Because they didn't really put a last name there, so I'm assuming Janet Jackson.
Is that the song that had the video with the tigers in it and she's in Africa? That's a great song if it's that one.
Janet's pretty, so I was speaking on her last week, I think, as far as ticket prices go again, and she's going out on tour, and I listen, I like Janet Jackson, but I'm not paying a minimum of $350 for a ticket to see her, and that's not even a good seat.
Yeah.
Right.
It's upwards of $2,500 for a good seat. I'm not going to do it.
People have to rebel. You have to rebel agaast that stuff. I
have the expendable money, that disposable income, and I'm not wasting it on her. I'm not wasting it on her. But Jack did bring up a good point. Some people, they save their money and they'll go to one concert in a year or every 2 years, or they just save up and they'll go. They'll pay that money, and it's a huge experience for them. And as we always know, could be the littlest concert. Like Mark, you went to a small venue recently with your son, right?
I blew a load of money this year on 2 concerts. One with my son and one with my son and daughter and son-in-law. Those were my high points, but it was worth it. I blew a ton of money, but I would do it again in a second.
Well, again, you had the experience with your kid. Porcupine Tree.
Yeah.
Now, how much was a ticket to see Porcupine Tree?
Porcupine Tree was a steal. I was in 13th row at Radio City, and the ticket was $78. I was lucky to get them as soon as they went on sale.
Yeah. That's okay. I'd do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I paid a lot of money last year. This time, actually, it was right before Christmas, is when I got the tickets to see Garbage with Tears for Fears, with Garbage backing them up. And I wanted to get good seats, so I probably on 2 tickets for my wife and I. It was a Christmas present for both of us. So it was I probably dropped over $500 for 2 tickets. And then you get the parking, the whole thing. So, but that was well worth it because we were only like 14 rows back. 2 bucket list concerts for me.
Yeah, well worth it because also it came with a great album behind it. Tears for Fears album was great. Yeah,
they were great shows, which I was just about to get into. People will pay all that money to see a concert, and they come out with the euphoria of, and we've all done it. We've all done it until the dust settles. You're like, that was the greatest fucking show ever, right? You're always euphoric after, like even up to 2 days after. But then when the dust settles, you're like, there was a good concert. It was a solid concert. But you're always kind of, now I could say for Tears for Fears and Garbage, that was one of the best concerts I've seen in probably a decade. It was
Same here
solid.
Same here with Porcupine Tree. To this day, 3 months later, you go, that was a great, memories are great of it. Yeah.
I mean, Shirley Manson, and I talked about it, that she just commands the stage. She's so fucking cool. Look, she doesn't look like she does in the Stupid Girl video. She was thin and hot and sexy. She was an older woman who had a kid, and she just she just fucking still, again, to say she is a rock star, She's like, I was taking a nap on the couch an hour ago. Like, like
resting up for the show.
She ain't fucking around. She's not lying. She's like, hey, I was just taking a nap before the show, I just got up. And then she spotted some girl in the crowd who had like this fiery yellow hair, and she just stopped and she looked and she says, you know what? And she points at it. She goes, you are absolutely beautiful.
Oh, that's so cool.
You are beautiful. That's and everybody, cool. The girl was just like, what the, and the girl's like fucking 25 rows back. You know what I mean? But she goes, you are absolutely beautiful. So she was just so in touch with the audience, and that's part of what made the whole show great. And plus her voice, like you can't deny, like Chrissy Hine, no matter how old they get, you're not going to deny those voices, right? And Tears for Fears, although Kurt Smith, like I said, he can't really hit those high notes. They played one of his songs as a lead up, which I thought was interesting, and I'm being repetitive, but Tears for Fears, you've both been to 100 concerts at least in your lifetime, right? And you always have the pre-show concert music, right? And it could be anything. It could be a mixtape, and it's always what the artist or the roadies want. Tears for Fears played their own music.
Really?
Fucking played their own music. Yeah. Like everything you're not going to hear in the show. Like it wasn't like cranked loud, but it was background music. And I'm listening. I said to my wife, I go, now this is a first.
That's a Tears for Fears experience.
They're playing their own music, and I've never heard that before. Never heard that, which I think was a good experience for the audience because I'm sure I wasn't the only one that noticed that.
Sure, and there's probably people that they want to turn people on to their music.
Yeah, and there's a very
maybe a kid went with a parent.
You're right. No, absolutely, you're right. There's a slow song that they sing. Kurt Smith sings, and it's I'm not even going to try to attempt, but it's his voice is really high, and he's a younger guy when he sang. I think it's off of songs from The Big Share, I think. And I Believe,
World.
I think it's called. I Believe in Music. And he really hits these high notes. And that was the last song they played before they came on, and they kind of turned that up, right?
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure it's because he can't sing that in concert anymore. Roland Orzabal, dude, fucking, just his voice is booming. Still a booming, clear voice. But Kurt Smith, that high voice, men can't really get that to that level anymore. So, but again, getting back to my point, people pay $2,500 for a concert ticket, and they're gonna say that's the greatest fucking experience they've ever had in their life. You better say that. You fucking better. Or if you walk out of that show going, it was okay, and you just fucked yourself. Just get yourself hyped to say it was the greatest thing ever, and you'll be fine. Right? What do you got there? You got motorcycle gangs driving by?
You know,
Angels.
So at 10 o'clock, I'm like literally like maybe a half mile from the Jersey border. For some reason, people come up from Jersey. The bars don't close yet, but I guess, you know.
So is it those cars from out on Highway 5, chrome wheel, fuel injected, and stepping out over the line? Is that where they're coming
I just
from?
happen to have the joy of living on a hill, so when they go past my house, they got to gun it.
We're there to cause some trouble. That's what we're doing there.
Yeah,
these damn Jersey people.
So let's see. Where did we leave off with Janet? Right, together again.
Yeah.
Number 3 this week, 25 years ago, in 1997, "You Make Me Wanna" by Usher. Number 2 this week, and I said this to Jack recently. Usher, I don't know. I don't think he gets respect, but I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves as an entertainer and a singer and a dancer. I think the 90s really kind of, he was above the rest, but the 90s was loaded with it.
Yeah.
You know, he did stand out, but I think as time went on, I don't know, maybe I just stopped hearing about him or stopped some, but I just thought Usher was always a talented kid. Always a talented kid.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his music. I like his music. But you can't, again, another one, you can't deny his talent, his dancing ability, and maybe it's the Michael Jackson thing too. Now everybody's compared to Michael Jackson.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, after that. So this is kind of off the beaten path. Before I get to number 2 and number 1, 25 years ago.
Well, nothing's more off the beaten path than mayonnaise, okay? So
this is true. Or being grossed out by peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know, that's you know. So
terrible.
I kind of sometimes I'm guilty of scrolling through TikTok. I'm not a big TikTok guy. Like, I'll put a video on there every once in a while, and I'll just kind of scroll. But it's not my primary, like, entertainment on social media. It can be interesting, as bad as it is with the Chinese thing, but it can be entertaining. And I come across these fucking videos on TikTok of Corey Feldman, the actor, right? But he now has a band. He's had a band for some years now, right? And they do these little clips of people go to his shows and they like record them. It is the fucking strangest thing in the world. This dude is like, if you don't have it, then it doesn't matter. If you have the TikTok app, just go look for Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
And like, you can't stop watching. And somebody says, like, can somebody show the audience? And the audience is literally like maybe 50 people, right? And and he got his get-ups on. He does all his dancing. Like, listen, the dude's living his best life. He's having fun, right?
Yeah.
He's doing what he wants to do. He's not, but people just have found him to be very intriguing little clips on TikTok, right? And I had to at one point. He was like into this big tent, and I just had to comment, what Comic-Con did he play at this year? That's what it reminded me of.
I was going to say, what kind of venues is he playing at? Like these little...
They're like little places.
He has a booth at the NAMM show or something, you know.
And his wife is like the keyboard player and backup singer, and he has these guys. Like, they gotta believe in him. These band members or they're just like, it's a fucking job, you know.
It's a gig.
And it's all his music though. That's the thing. He's not doing cover songs. This is all his original music. Right?
He's on Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman and his band, Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
How much?
Sorry, there are currently no upcoming events. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You're not paying more than $25 for that one. And that's front row seats, which you could buy the cheap seats and walk right up to the front because nobody's sitting in the front row.
It ain't going to Broadway.
No, it's just so fucking like weird to watch.
It is weird. It sounds weird.
But he's got his jet black hair and he's fucking Corey Feldman. You can't, but he has like the Michael Jackson pants on. He does the Michael Jackson moves and you know.
He's what, 45 years old now? Or
I
what?
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Jesus Christ.
He will always be Looney LaChance to me. Looney.
That was in what movie?
Stand By Me.
Now, wasn't he also in
Lost Boys? Lost Boys? No.
Yeah, he was in Lost Boys.
He was in Lost Boys.
But was he in Fright Night also?
No.
Remember the one with the vampire that lives next door?
Yeah, no.
That wasn't him?
Wait, no. One of my favorite movies of all time.
They tried to do a remake of that, I think.
Sucked.
Yeah. Fright Night, the original, it's a classic. It's a classic. But I don't know. I know he was in the Lost Boys, though, which, again, a great vampire movie.
You're eating maggots, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the
Chinese
first
food,
movies I rented at a Blockbuster or whatever on VHS.
Wow, look at that. Lost Boys.
Yeah. Right.
Number 2 this week in 1997, How Do I Live by Leanne Rimes, who still looks good today.
Yeah.
Again, another one that looks better, I think, today than she did back in 97.
She canceled some dates recently.
Yeah.
I think there's some, but a lot of people are, man. There's a lot of reasons to cancel them. You know?
I'm looking at these older women lately. Is it because I'm 59 and I'm starting to like realize,
look good,
hey, you know what? And all right, I'm just going to get a little weird here for a second, but I'm looking at saying, why wasn't I thinking of this when I was in my 20s?
Right.
Like, why didn't I kind of like say, that's a whole demographic I could probably nah, forget it. I won't
Moving right along. Come on, let's move along.
You always look back, you're like, what was I thinking? Like, I was such a fucking idiot when I was 24. Like, what I didn't know and I thought I knew,
I like gray hair. I do.
Hey, this who is that? Tulsi Gabbard has that fucking sexy.
I saw that today. I like that.
Hey, she's a hottie. There ain't
she wears that white suit.
She's an interesting person too.
Since we're into this, and I know my wife doesn't listen to the podcast. She wouldn't care anyways. Who's kind of hot? Carrie Lake. That fucking crazy, not crazy, the lady that ran for governor of Arizona. She's kind of hot, man. Like,
there's a couple pictures of her not done.
She looks mean. She looks a little too mean, a little too intense. I don't know.
Well, you know where that goes.
It's in the eyes, Scott.
Look, you know what that leads to, though.
I know, dude.
That indeed, she's a little crazy, cray. Right?
I think you do the walk of shame out of there. I think you do the perp walk in the morning.
She'll make you pick up your shoes and walk out the door. She'll make and you'll do it with pleasure.
With a footprint on your ass, sure.
I kind of I go, Carrie Lake's kind of hot. She's kind of hot.
She was a newscaster as well.
Yeah. It's something about that short hair. I don't know. It just works for her.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, way off subject.
Moving
We
right
actually lost
along.
57 viewers just now. I don't know.
We're respectful gentlemen. We are respectful.
Oh, by the way,
all
Scott,
said with respect.
Perry asked, "Is Butch Vig still in?"
Yeah. Still drumming. Yeah, it was the original band. Yeah.
Cool.
Producer of Nirvana.
Of Nirvana, yeah, that's his claim. That's his big claim to fame. Then he went on with all that money and said, "Let's just start a band of fucking backup players and get this, kind of sexy."
Yeah.
You know what Shirley Manson really is. The Seinfeld episode with if the shade is if the lighting isn't right, it's like. If the lighting's right, she's beautiful, and all of a sudden she turns to the left, like. That's kind of Shirley Manson kind of has that look.
It's a Scottish thing,
Yeah. I've seen it without makeup. I'm like, No, I like Shirley. Anyways, number 1 this week.
Well, you're never going to meet her now.
I know. So I blew it because she's a big fan of the podcast.
Or maybe it's a second rock star that's going to dial into the show and say, "Fuck you, Scott."
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, what's her name from the Go-Go's? Yeah.
Gina Shock.
Gina Shock said, "Fuck you, Scott."
I never heard House of Shock. Was it any good? That was her band after that.
I would not know. Yeah, I would not know.
Watch it, Lou. You're going to go back to the green room.
Yeah, you're with that penalty box.
Why? For what?
We got to behave. We have to behave.
I put myself in the penalty box for 10 minutes back there.
So Lou's accumulating points.
Yeah.
Like next time he fucks up, he's like, just take 2 minutes out of my 10. Just take 2 out of the 10. I'm
got
good.
a free sub.
All right, let's see. Number 1 this week, did I say Candle in the Wind and Something About the Way You Look Tonight by Elton John. Candle in the Wind, 1997. You have to differentiate that.
That was for Princess Diana. That was okay.
All right,
what was the second song, Scott?
The second one was Something About the Way You Look Tonight.
Okay.
It was like a medley, right?
Yeah. I can hear it. Yeah.
All right. On this day in music, Mark's favorite part of the show, in 1968, speaking of who we spoke of earlier, the 3-day Miami Pop Festival took place on this day in 1968, the first major rock festival held on the East Coast of the U.S. with the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Chuck Berry, the McCoys, Joni Mitchell, Fleetwood Mac, Marvin Gaye, the Turtles, the Box Tops, Steppenwolf, Three Dog Night. They were kind of catching fire, right? Three Dog Night around 68, 69. Pacific Gas and Electric, Procol Harum, Canned Heat, a very kind of interesting sounding band. Maybe one of these shows. You a Canned Heat fan, Lou or Mark? Or do you know anything about them?
I like what I've heard. I think they're interesting.
Maybe we'll talk about them next show.
You'll listen up to them.
Could be next week, by the way.
They're more than just a country rock band.
Yeah. Interesting sound, interesting singer. One of the only rock bands that had a fat lead singer.
That's right. Who sound like Kermit the Frog sometimes.
Yeah. Very Iron Butterfly, and I'm sure they only played one song in their set. And the Grateful Dead, who, by the way, is still playing.
That's
still playing right now.
From back then.
Yeah, 68.
The only band, there's one band, what was that band, the electric company? Who the hell was that?
Pacific Gas and
Electric. I have no idea.
Okay.
They must have had a hit that year.
Yeah, wow, interesting.
Let's see. On this day in 1968, the Beatles went to number 1 the U.S. album charts with the White Album, the group's 12th number 1 album. Then it goes into blah, blah, blah. No singles were issued from the album. It says a double album in plain white sleeve has no graphics or text other than the band's name embossed, which was intended as a direct contrast to the vivid cover artwork of the band's earlier Sgt. Pepper's. No singles were issued from the album in Britain and the United States. Songs Hey Jude and Revolution originated from the same recording sessions and were issued on a single in August of 1968. There's a correction, though. I have to correct that. It says the double album is plain white sleeve, has no graphics or text. It does. It has a number printed, stamped into it. And you know who has 00001, right?
David Gilmour.
I wish I did. No. Ringo Starr.
Oh.
Ringo has 00001, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. On this day in 1972, David Bowie appeared at the Hard Rock, Stretford, Manchester, England, on his Ziggy Stardust tour. Here we go. This song is kind of creepy. It's a good song, but it's creepy. It's where the stalker gets fucking sucked into the spider web. In 1974, Helen Reddy went to number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with...
And that's not in Georgia.
Nope.
No.
She didn't sing that.
That was, that wasn't
that was Vicki Robinson.
No, Vicki, that's right.
Vicki Lawrence. Vicki Lawrence, I'm sorry.
That's right. Helen Reddy?
Yep.
I Am
Come
Woman?
on, Lou. Come on, you got to know it, Lou.
Wasn't I Am Woman?
Nope.
No.
Creepy song.
I'm trying. Oh, wait. Angie
You know it.
Baby.
Yeah,
Angie
you
Baby.
go.
Okay. Oh,
Angie
God.
Baby.
That was a creepy song. That was
yeah. Listen to the lyrics of that. Listen to the words and put the story. It's like this dude thinks he's getting her and she got him. And she's crazy as a sprayed fucking roach.
That's right. That's right.
It ends up Angie's a crazy bitch.
Never to be found.
Yeah. Dude is like looking through her wall, like a hole in a wall, and she knows it. Like, and she sucks him in, and the dude just disappears. She stored him in a closet or something like that.
Except the crazy girl with a secret lover who keeps her satisfied. Holy
That's
shit.
That's right. Yeah. That backfired.
What year? What year was that?
74.
See, that is a weird year for singles. It's a really morbid year. There's a lot of death. Seasons in the Sun was 74. All the night Chicago died. All this, Daddy was a cop. Daddy didn't come home.
Chicago. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They loved those story songs back in the 70s, right? There was a whole bunch of years where these story songs, like you said, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Billy, Don't Be a Hero.
Billy, Don't Be a Hero. Yeah. All early 70s shit.
I was only 5 years old, so I don't know.
The dog that
I was 5. I was listening to David Bowie. God damn it!
I was listening to Brain Cell Surgery.
Okay. On this day in 1976, blues guitarist Freddie King died of a heart trouble and ulcers at the age of 42.
Ooh.
Eric Clapton covered his "Have You Ever Loved a Woman?"
And that's
on his
on
Layla
the
album.
Dark and Dominoes.
Major influence on British and American blues rock musicians such as Jimmy Vaughan, Ronnie Earl, Peter Green, and Eric Clapton. I agree with this. On this day in 1978, Rolling Stone magazine, which used to be a fucking good music magazine.
Yeah.
Now it's just a fucking mouthpiece. The political magazine. Rolling Stone magazine voted Some Girls by the Rolling Stones Album of the Year. It was probably one of the greatest albums of the 70s, if you ask me. The cover designed by Peter Corsten featured the Rolling Stones in garish drag alongside select female celebrities and lingerie ads. Cover immediately ran into trouble when Lucille Ball, Farrah Fawcett, Liza Minnelli, representing her mother Judy Garland, Raquel Welch, and the estate of Marilyn Monroe, who all threatened legal action. Then they came out with the second album cover, which was, it said, censored over all those artists, all those actresses. They put a censored or for sale or thing. So I don't know what. And it came in different variant colors too. The second one.
I wonder how many of the
different colors.
I have like 3 copies of the original. And then I also have like 2 copies of the second pressing of that album. Yeah.
First album with Ron Wood.
Look at fucking Lou.
Right.
Mark, you gotta shop in that fucking notebook, buddy.
I know.
Lou's coming out
throw that one in.
From fucking peanut butter to Ron Wood tonight. He came with his game at the end of the year.
I had to make up for my laps.
He came with his game. Okay, on this day in 1983, having made 2 successful dives below a friend's yacht to find items he'd drunkenly thrown off his own boat 3 years before, the Beach Boys' Dennis Wilson took one last dive into the Pacific and never returned from the boat moored at Marina del Rey, California. With the help of President Reagan, he was given a burial at sea, normally reserved for naval personnel.
Yeah.
Dennis was the only genuine surfer in the Beach Boys. On this day in 1990, what's that?
He has a great solo album. He did. Pacific Ocean Blue.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah, he was talented, but sad story. Yeah,
troubled. Yeah. On this day in 1991, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, and Pearl Jam all appeared at Del Mar O'Brien Pavilion in San Diego, California.
Wow.
How'd you like to have been at that?
Cool show, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right. Let's see. On this day in 1998, UK radio station BBC Radio 1 aired the 100 national anthems songs voted by listeners. I don't know what that means. It's a British thing. Probably 100 best songs. National
songs you could sing at soccer games. Yeah.
Number 5 was Radiohead's Creep. Number 4, Underworld by Born Slippy. Number 3, The Verve, or Underworld with the song Born Slippy. Number 3, The Verve, Bittersweet Symphony. Number 2, Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. And number 1, Massive Attack, second mention in the show, Unfinished Symphony.
Wow.
What's that?
Wow. There's not really anthems. It's strange. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. 100 national anthems. On this day in 2003, 50 Cent's debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin', was named the biggest selling album in the U.S. in 2003, with the album going platinum 6 times over. Outkast came in second with Speaker Box, The Love Below. A lot of hits off those 2 albums.
Yeah.
And Linkin Park's Meteora was the 3rd biggest seller. Top 10 albums of 2003 in the USA accounted for around 30 million in sales. Let me see. On this day in 2005, Pink Floyd were voted the greatest rock stars ever in a survey of 58,000 listeners from UK radio station Planet Rock. Led Zeppelin were voted into 2nd place. 3rd was the Rolling Stones. 4th was The Who. 5th, AC/DC. 6th, U2. 7th, Guns N' Roses. I think that people would probably have if they had a second chance to vote, I think Guns N' Roses would have come in 7th.
Get them off.
Yeah.
8th was Nirvana. 9th was Bon Jovi. And 10th place was Jimi Hendrix. So they.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm just gonna blow right by that.
Yeah.
Let's just move on. Senado, because we're at 2.5 hours. We'll end up talking another 20 minutes on that one alone.
The Grateful Dead just finished one song.
Yay! On this day in 2011, Sinead O'Connor announced the end of her marriage to therapist Barry Hedridge after only 16 days. Moral of the story, don't marry a crazy Irish woman.
Obviously, the therapy was going nowhere.
Evidently, it was a big. She even said it was a big mistake, and she's crazy. So,
was her child born out of that?
I don't know. God bless her though. She was a beautiful girl when she was younger. She was another talented. Who I say,
great voice,
greatest debut. One of the greatest debut albums of the '80s. I'd say top. If I really took a look, I would still put it in the top 5 best debut albums of the '80s. And in my probably top 10 greatest debut albums of all time, The Lion and the Cobra. If you haven't listened to it, go fucking listen to it. You will be doing yourself a big favor. The Lion and the Cobra.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Nah. She's probably on the wall with that fucking Something Compares to You song. She's probably in there somewhere. Because that song was a monster. I don't know if they have these little separate entities within the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Was Lay Your Hands on Me on that album?
Yes.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
The
whole album, from start to finish, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor and listen to it. You will not be disappointed. If you are, I will give you your money back.
Just listen on Spotify.
There you go. And I'll still pay you.
A couple of years ago, Sinead, she was living in a halfway house in New Jersey.
Yeah. It's bipolar and poor girl. Let me see. Here we go. On this day in 2015, John Bradbury, the longtime drummer for the British band The Specials, died at age 62. That's where I knew I had seen someone from The Specials died. So almost, 7 years later? Almost to the day. The lead singer dies. He joined the band. Life. Yeah, he joined the band in 79 after the original drummer left and was made a permanent member after playing at the recording sessions for the single Gangsters. It was a sad day on this day in 2015. Lemmy, lead vocalist and bassist with Motorhead, died at his home in Los Angeles 4 days after his 70th birthday, following a short battle with an extremely aggressive cancer. Lemmy played in several rock groups in the 60s, including Rockin' Vickers, and worked as a roadie for Jimi Hendrix and The Nice.
Wow.
Jimi Hendrix and The Nice.
The Nice. With Keith Emerson.
Yeah. You never really hear about them, do you?
No.
Yep.
It's always Band of Gypsies or The Experience, but you never hear about The Nice. Interesting.
Well, the singing wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Imagine the LP with a really bad singer.
Okay. All right. Before joining the space rock band Hawkwind in 1971.
Hawkwind.
Great band.
Yeah.
Singing lead on their hit Silver Machine. And, oh boy, on this day in 2021, I'd rather be dead on this day in 2021. Dr. Dre's divorce was settled, with the rapper producer agreeing to pay his ex-wife, Nicole Plotzker Young, his last name is Andre Young, $100 million.
Heyday.
More than 1/5 of the rap icon's fortune. Young was required to move out of the Malibu beach house by the end of the month, but would keep a Rolls Royce, a Range Rover, an Escalade limousine, and a Spider motorcycle, as well as all of her jewelry.
I feel so bad.
Probably another fucking $200,000. They were married from 1996 to 2020. Well, she was there when he blew up.
Yeah.
You know, he was there. So
who's his lawyer?
That's what you get for living in California. Califuck.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. Califuck you. That's it. That's what you say.
Hey, obviously, he didn't get to renegotiate his prenup if he had one.
No. Like Kanye says at the end of Gold Diggers, we want prenups. We want prenups. And I didn't even mention I went right past his story for this year.
Oh, okay.
That's just fucking batshit crazy story. I can't even follow that. I don't even know which direction it goes in.
He's famous. He doesn't have to do that. He's already really famous. I mean, I don't know.
And I guess he's running out of money. He only has like $100 million left or something like that. I don't know.
He's getting older too.
But they said his expenditures are really, really hefty. So to us, that might be like, but to him, you know, he could be dropping $50,000 a day.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
I got employees and stuff like that. Yeah.
And every employee has a credit card.
Yeah. Born on this day in 1915, Roebuck Staples.
Pop.
There you go. Very good. Roebuck Pop Staples. One of my favorite songs of the 70s. I had this 45 and I played it to fucking death. Was the Staples Singers, I'll Take You There. I fucking still love that song to this day. I wore the grooves out of that 45. Mm-hmm. And I think I was probably, like Mark said, I was probably 5, 6, 7, 8.
What commercial has played the shit out of that song?
I'll take you there.
Yeah, there's a commercial.
For Expedia, maybe?
Something like that. It's like, it kills me that it's in that
commercial. Ain't no smiling faces. I'll take you there. Now I'm going to go download that fucking thing. Put it on my Amazon playlist. So I'm an Amazon guy. I don't do any. I pay for it, so I'm like, I got to get my money's worth out of this shit.
Yeah, right.
So, born on this day in 1932, Dorsey Burnett. Lou? Mark?
Was he the father of like Rocky Burnett or Johnny Burnett?
American rockabilly singer Dorsey Burnett with his younger brother Johnny Burnett. He was the founding member of the Rock and Roll Trio. He's also the father of country musician and Fleetwood Mac member Billy Burnett.
Billy Burnett, okay.
Yeah.
Who had a big?
What's that?
He had a big #1 hit.
Who, Billy Burnett?
I tied him toe in the line, baby. Oh,
that was Billy Burnett.
I think it was Billy or Rocky was his father. I think
Rocky Burnett was. Yeah. Well, let me see.
Hey, Rocky.
Dorsey Burnett was Billy Burnett's father.
Oh, his father. Okay.
Rocky Burnett has to be in there somewhere. It's got to be like fucking uncle, maybe. I don't know. He died at age 46 from a heart attack in 1979.
Boom. Gee.
Born in this day in 1938, Charles Neville.
The Neville brothers.
Yeah. What did he play? What instrument?
I don't know.
Sax.
Okay.
Sax player. Let me see. Born on this day in 1942, Alan Schwartzberg. Nothing? American musician and record producer, Alan Schwartzberg.
Wow.
Who has been a member of the rock band Mountain, Peter Gabriel's band, and toured with Linda Ronstadt. He also played on such hits as Gloria Gaynor's Never Can Say Goodbye, and worked with many artists, including John Lennon, Diana Ross, James Brown, Alice Cooper, Frank Sinatra, Roxy Music, Rod Stewart, and Robert Palmer. Wow.
Never can say goodbye. Oh, sorry, it's the Jackson song.
I was actually listening at the Communards when you popped in before the show. I had that playing.
Oh, okay.
Never can say goodbye.
Yeah.
The Communards do a good version of that. Let me see. Born on this day in 1946, Edgar Winter. The Edgar Winter Group. Brother of Johnny Winter.
Johnny Winter.
Right? Both albinos, right?
Yeah.
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 He wrote Frankenstein.
From what year? What year?
Yeah.
What year?
I was in 1973.
What album?
They Only Come Out at Night.
There you go, buddy.
And what other big hit was on that? Free Ride.
Yep. Come on. I had the 8-track.
Who sung Free Ride?
I listened to the 8-track.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was cool like that.
Who's the vocalist on the song Free Ride?
Dan Hartman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Later to be a huge pop star.
Who had a disco hit? He had a disco hit. Big disco hit.
Dan Hartman, I Can Dream About You. Right?
That was a hit too, but he had another. It was more of a dance hit. Instant Replay.
Instant replay. I love disco. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that instantly.
Nice.
But yeah, Dan Hartman also did that moving sidewalk.
yeah.
Right? I can dream about you.
He passed young too.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yep. Let me see. Born on this day in 1950, Alex Chilton.
Oh, the Box Tops.
Yeah, fucking Lou. Woo. Vocals with the Box Tops.
Box Tops.
Box Tops.
Who had the 1967 U.S. #1 and UK #5 single.
The Letter.
Look, you just killing it at the end of the year. Killing it.
I'm making up, man. I got to make up. That's also one of the shortest. That might be the shortest pop song or pop single. It's up there with it's under 2 minutes. The version of The Letter.
He formed Big Star in 1971. In the 1980s, both REM and The Replacements cited Big Star Group as a major influence.
Yep.
Chilton died in hospital. You know this was written in England. In hospital.
In hospital, yeah.
You never say the. In America, we say the. It's
on
in
holiday.
On holiday, yeah. Of heart problems in New Orleans in March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2010 at age 59. This is a song that mentions Alex Chilton.
The Replacements wrote a song called Alex Chilton.
That's right. That's right. And born on this day in 1978, John, I don't give a shit about him legend. That dude's a
John
beta
Legend.
male if I ever saw one. That dude, fuck John Legend. Fuck him. That dude is just a pussy.
I think I've heard him. I don't know what his song are. I know he's
John Legend. He's the black dude. He's all smooth. He was married. He was dating Jennifer Aniston for a while. Maybe he still is. I don't know. And he's just the total I'm a male feminist. And, he did a remake last year of Baby It's Cold Outside and made it modernized because it didn't sound as rapey. And,
Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck John Legend. I hope he listens to this podcast. Fuck you, John Legend. And if you know John Legend, tell him I said, fuck you, John Legend.
He's going to call in, watch out.
I don't care. It's my podcast. I can say whatever I want.
I remember when that song came under fire for the guys basically slipping her a roofie, basically.
He's kind of...
I know that I've heard this.
They're just having banter, friendly banter with all these woke, Me Too, or You Too, or Time's Up, fucking ladies and beta males all like, it's rapey. It's rapey.
Don't bring You Too into this. Come on. You said You Too. You Too aren't part of this. Come on.
I was actually waiting for this year, and I was like, I'm not hearing it. And all of a sudden I heard it. I was like, good. They didn't give in.
Didn't Zooey Deschanel do a version of that, or did she sing it? Was that on Elf? But she sang a version of it.
Yeah, she was singing it in the shower in Elf.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, naked in the shower.
Maybe she was, and maybe she was.
Maybe she was. Well, gentlemen, that's it. We hit 2 hours and 38 minutes. I knew this was going to be.
By the way, Scott, if you just look at your last comment, people like this segment.
That's right. That's right. Not Jack. No, Jack now decides to leave. I don't know if I like that either. I actually got a couple of bad comments about Jack leaving after an hour. They said it's kind of pompous.
Oh boy!
Hey, listen, people contact me. They'll send me a text. I'll get an email, and they'll be like, "It's kind of like But hey, listen, it is what it is. It is. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care.
He's on the show. You guys are fucking great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. I know. I love Jack. But going on 3 years of doing this, I could give two shits whether he's on or not. I don't care. Like I used to. No, I used to be like, and I love Jack. I'd say this to his face. But Jack, he has other things he needs to do, so he does them. And I used to be like, I used to be bothered by it. I used to be like, like what the fuck? Like, but then I realized hey, listen, it's just a podcast. If he wants to be on it, he can be on it. I don't care. Maybe this year I'll get Perry on here.
Or that's going to be monumental. That's going to be an NBC.
Mark just gave a oof.
It's going to be an NBC primetime special. They'll show you in slow motion. Scott got Perry. Kind of like the Bruce Springsteen interview on Howard Stern.
Apparently he's got writers he likes in his contract or something.
They can bring him on. I don't care. Bring him on.
He's got a tough manager. I'm telling you.
Let me see. My buddy Dean Farron says, my favorite part of the show is when Robin does the news and you guys make funny comments about current event.
That's what I was talking about.
Sorry. Wrong show. Seriously. Whoops,
Good
wrong
one.
show. But thanks, Dean. I appreciate that. And I'm sure these gentlemen also appreciate it. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. This again, I love these marathon shows, man.
We went 2 hours and 48 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
a good one, man.
It's
the end of the year. It's the end of the year. I'll get a call from Jack or a text from Jack tomorrow. How long did you guys go last night? He's gonna ask me. He's gonna ask me because he knows these are like just like long playing, like an LP. It's a long play, right? He likes doing the 45 version. We do the long play version. And I'll say 2 hours and 48 minutes. He's gonna go, what the fuck? But I think he went to see. I think he went to see Patti Smith. I think tonight.
I hope he had a great time. That's a big show.
Yeah, he was on the fence about it. So, although he let me know at like 3 o'clock. I had to ask him. I don't know when he was going to tell me he wasn't coming on tonight. But his contract's coming up for renegotiation, so we're going to discuss things. Gentlemen, once again, I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it at the end of the show. You guys are an absolute home run for this podcast.
Thanks for having us.
And there's going to be plenty more shows next year. I'm in the process of having contracts drawn up for you guys. And I still want to make sure that Perry gives a blessing to me, to release you guys from his contract.
We'll get him to give a video. Send a video of him blessing. Right?
He should do that. Yeah. So you send me a video. I'll put it on. I don't care. Hey, everyone. Have them do like a, hey, this is Perry from the Music Relish Project, like a plug video.
Yeah,
I'll fucking play it at the beginning of every episode.
And Perry, you're not whoring us out, by the way. It's not that kind of situation, okay?
Whatever you get, we get.
I will tell him to make a plug for the Music Relish Podcast, and I'll put it in. I'll drop it in the show every once in a while. What the hell? I don't care. All right, gentlemen. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Scott.
Yes, have a safe and quiet, because I'm sure you guys like me. New Year's is for the rookies. Let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy it. You got any New Year's? I think Mark said you're getting Chinese food. You guys said you're going to.
I do that, and I love waking up early on New Year's Day and going out and doing shopping or something because nobody's awake.
There you go.
It's the best feeling getting up early.
Lou?
I'm in the spirits business, so New Year's Eve, once I think it's 4 o'clock, I am out the door, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna chill out, a little some bubbly myself, and we're doing a New Year's Day podcast for Music Relish, aren't we?
Yes,
nice.
I think we are. Yeah,
New Year's Day.
Excellent.
So excellent. It's gonna be 60 degrees here on Sunday.
Beautiful.
So
that's beautiful.
Before the podcast, I'm going for a hike because I live a mile away from some awesome hiking trails.
Excellent.
Up here in the mountains, and so good times.
All right. Dean Farron says Happy New Year. Looking forward to more shows this year. There's going to be more shows, buddy. I don't think I might skip a few weeks during the holidays, but I don't plan on missing any shows. So Because, well, if I don't do a show, then there is no show. So
obviously, but you don't have a box.
Like, I don't have the luxury of the jackass. Just taking random nights off and just, I don't really have that luxury. But yeah, all right. Well, yeah, I'm taking the family out to dinner. We go to a nice Italian restaurant called La Sorelle in Boca Raton. They get a veal chopped palm. Everything's cooked. These Italian sisters. La Sorelle means the sisters, I guess, right? And there's 3 Italian sisters right off the boat, right off the beautiful girls, beautiful ladies. They have 2 restaurants, one here in the next town up Del Rey. But everything is cooked in one of those round brick ovens. Everything, right? And they do this veal chopped palm. And I'm telling you, dude, it's like the size of a small pizza. This thing is fucking huge. Nice. Mark, you'll see it. I'll post it on my Facebook.
Okay.
Page.
Yeah.
Scott, what's the name of the place again?
La Sorelle.
L-A-C.
L-A, then S-O-R-E-L-L-E.
Okay.
La Sorelle.
Okay.
And they do this shit. Like, they don't do, like, you don't go in there and order, like, fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. The waiter will actually tell you, get out. Like, they're like, he's right off the boat. No. He goes, no. We don't do that garbage. We don't do that garbage here, right? And there's been a few times my wife and I go in and I'd order. He goes, no, you don't want that. I said, oh, I don't? No. This is what you want. And the guy has never steered me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let him order for me. I'm like, and then for my wife, he goes, this is what you want tonight.
Cool.
It's always a home run. But they do this shit. Instead of fettuccine Alfredo, they get the big wheel of pecorino cheese, right? And they put the flame on it, the fluid, and it melts it, and they throw the pasta in there, and they turn it right in the wheel of cheese. Like, it's fucking unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
That's pretty sick.
They bring it right to your table too. They bring it right to your table. They do it right in front of you. If you get the bronzino, they bring the big ass fish right to your table, and the lady, she debones it. They're piled in salt. They get all the salt that's cooked in salt. They take the salt off it. It's fucking, it's just a tough, but it's a price range where you don't go there every week.
Right.
Yeah. It's definitely not like going to Olive Garden.
Sounds amazing.
And you don't get like a side of pasta. Like, don't ask them for a side of pasta with your veal palm. Don't. Because they're not even going to acknowledge you. Like, they don't even, like, you learn these little, the more you go, the more you learn. And she won't even write it down. Like, if you want pasta, order pasta.
Not a side.
Yeah, we don't give like it comes with, because we're not that restaurant. Like, we're a real Italian restaurant,
Right.
So I order a thing of pecorino and fettuccine pecorino, whatever, for the table or whatever, and just because I eat the hell out of that shit.
Yeah,
I eat the hell out of it. So that's what we're doing. And then New Year's Day, it's just probably nothing. Just chill.
Binging TV shows. That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, all right, gentlemen.
I do barbecue. So since I lived in the South, you could, when I was in New Jersey, ribs, whatever. Since I've been living down here, if you find like several good barbecue places, I find it addictive.
There you go.
I'm smoking ribs.
I'm not a big smoke guy.
I am.
Yeah, I'm not big on smoked meat. I like it just moist and wet. I just like it wet. Okay, anyways.
All right. We went off the rails.
He said that word. The word
as soon as I say it's like a fifth grader just started chuckling. Like I said the word boobies.
Could you be more specific?
Yeah. On
come
that
on.
note, gentlemen, let's not end the year on a bad note. Don't make me put you in the penalty box right before the end of the show.
It started that way.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I will be talking to you. I'll text you on New Year's. Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year.
Maybe you'll be back on next Wednesday. I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. And everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As I always say, you are the engine that runs this machine. Without you, it'd just be me talking to these guys, and you would not enjoy it because you wouldn't be hearing it, but now you will. And doing this show for you, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, the pleasure, the privilege is mine, and I will be back next week, maybe with these guys. Maybe they'll stay out of the penalty box this time.